My child, stop scrolling. If you are hearing this right now, it is not by accident, because this message is for the part of you that keeps standing at the door while your soul is begging you to move. I need you to listen carefully, and I need you to stay with me until the very end, because what I am about to say will confront what you have delayed, expose what you have been excusing, and call you out of the place where you have been stuck for far too long. This is not a casual word. This is a turning point. Let every distraction wait. Let every other voice be silent. Stay here, because if you leave too early, you may miss the very sentence that was meant to break the cycle you keep returning to. And if you know deep down this title already pierced you, then do not look away now, because what comes next may be the moment everything changes. My child, come closer and stay with me here, because I need you to hear my heart without rushing past it. You have called this season many things. You have called it waiting. You have called it confusion. You have called it timing. You have even tried to call it wisdom, as though your hesitation was some noble kind of caution. But I need you to let go of those names now, because they are no longer telling you the truth. What you are standing in is no longer delay. It is a decision. It is the place where your soul already knows what I have been asking of you, but your hands are still trembling at the thought of releasing what has kept you comfortable. I have watched you from within the silence you thought was empty. I have been near you in those private moments when your eyes looked calm to everyone else, but inside you felt that pull, that deep unrest, that quiet ache you could not explain. You knew something was unfinished between us. You knew I was still dealing with you. You knew I was still reaching for the places in you that have remained closed. Yet you kept telling yourself that you would return to it later, that you would face it when life slowed down, that you would obey when you felt stronger, clearer, more ready. But you already know, don't you? Readiness has become the excuse that helps you postpone surrender. You keep waiting to feel peace before obedience, when the truth is that peace has been waiting for you on the other side of the very thing you keep avoiding. I do not say this to wound you. I say it because I love you too deeply to let you keep hiding inside language that makes your resistance sound harmless. There are things I have already placed in your heart that you keep asking me to confirm, even though I have spoken clearly enough for you to know what I meant. You have asked for another sign when what you truly wanted was more time. You have asked for more clarity when what you truly feared was what clarity would require from you. And I have been patient, my beloved. I have been so patient with you. I have stayed near when you were distracted. I have kept calling your name when you buried yourself in noise. I have protected you in ways you never noticed, even while you drifted farther than you admitted. But now I need you to understand the tenderness and the seriousness of this moment. I am not stepping back from you. I am stepping closer and speaking more plainly because the door before you cannot remain open forever in the same way. Some moments carry a grace that belongs to that moment alone. Some invitations are deeply merciful, but they are also time-sensitive because they are connected to purpose, to alignment, to the season I wrote for you before you knew what you would become. If you keep treating this like something you can revisit whenever it suits you, you will keep circling the same pain and calling it mystery. You will keep living with inner tension and calling it spiritual warfare, when much of it is the exhaustion of a heart that already knows it needs to say yes. I am not asking you to become someone else before you come to me. I am asking you to stop pretending you do not hear me. That is where the healing begins. That is where the fog begins to break. That is where your heart finally stops fighting two realities at once. You have been trying to move toward me while still keeping one hand on what I asked you to release. You have been trying to pray for peace while protecting the very thing that disturbs it. You have been asking me to bless what I have been lovingly trying to pull you out of. My child, listen to the softness in my voice even as I speak firmly. This is not delay anymore. This is the moment you have been avoiding. And because I love you, I will not keep letting you name it something smaller than it is. I know why this hath been hard for you. I know this is not just about one choice, one habit, one relationship, one fear, or one act of obedience. This reaches deeper than that, and touches identity. It touches trust. It touches the parts of you that learn to survive by staying guarded, by staying in control, by postponing any step that might expose how vulnerable you really feel. You have carried wounds that taught you to move carefully, and I have never ignored that. I saw what disappointment did to your heart. I saw how betrayal made you second-guess your own discernment. I saw how certain prayers seemed to hang in the air unanswered until you started to wonder whether hope itself was dangerous. I saw how you learned to brace yourself so that if something beautiful never arrived, it would hurt less. And somewhere in that slow shaping of your defenses, you began to bring that guardedness into your walk with me. You still spoke to me. You still reached for me in moments. You still believed in me enough to whisper when you were hurting. But there were rooms in your heart where you quietly decided, I cannot let go here until I know what will happen next. You may not have said it that clearly, but I heard it in the way you held back. I heard it in the way you kept asking me for certainty instead of trust. I heard it in the way you returned to the same patterns that gave you temporary relief, even when they left you emptier afterward. I heard it in the way you let certain voices shape you because at least their influence felt familiar, even if it was slowly weakening your sense of who you are. My child, I am not offended by your weakness. I am moved by it. I am not standing over you with impatience because you are struggling. I am standing before you with truth because I know what happens if you keep living split inside yourself. This inner strain you feel is not random. It is not because I have left you in confusion. It is because your spirit is tired of negotiating with what I have already revealed. You are weary because you keep rehearsing the same internal argument. Part of you wants freedom, but another part still wants the permission to delay the cost of becoming free. Part of you longs for the life I keep showing you in glimpses, but another part is still attached to what has become familiar, even if it is slowly draining your joy. I need you to hear me here with complete honesty. You do not need another dramatic sign. You do not need the perfect emotional moment. You do not need a crisis to force you into surrender. You do not need one more disappointment to prove that what I told you was true. You already know enough to take the next honest step. And that is all I'm asking for right now. Not 10 years of certainty. Not a full map. Not a version of you that no longer feels fear. I am asking for the next true yes. I am asking you to stop calling your resistance discernment when deep down you know it is fear. I am asking you to stop telling yourself that I will simply repeat this invitation forever in exactly the same way. My love for you is constant. My nearness to you is constant. But moments shift. Seasons turn. Doors assigned to one chapter do not stay open just because you hope they will wait until you feel brave enough. So I am speaking to you now with a heart that is full of compassion and full of urgency. I am still here. I am still holding out my hand. I am still calling you mine. But this moment asks for something from you. It asks for honesty. It asks for surrender. It asks for movement. Let this be the place where you stop running from the conversation your soul has been having with me for so long. Let this be the place where you stop bargaining with conviction. Let this be the place where you finally admit that the ache in you is not just pain. It is an invitation. It is me, your Father, drawing you out of delay and into decision, not to punish you, not to shame you, but to bring you back into the life your spirit have been longing to breathe again. My child, I need you to hear the tenderness inside what I am about to say. I am not speaking to you this way because I want you afraid of me. I am speaking this way because I can see what you have normalized, and I will not stand silent while you keep calling a slow unraveling just life. You have been carrying things that are quietly breaking you, and because the damage has not always been loud, you have treated it like it is manageable. You have looked at the fatigue in your spirit and called it stress. You have looked at the heaviness in your chest and called it pressure. You have looked at the way your joy disappears and returns in brief flashes and told yourself that everybody feels this way, that maybe this is just adulthood, maybe this is just responsibility, maybe this is simply how life works now. But I need you to stop and tell the truth with me. What is happening inside you is not just normal wear and tear. Some of it is the ache of living against what your soul knows. Some of it is the bruising that comes from repeatedly stepping back into places I have already tried to pull you out of. Some of it is the silent crack that forms when you keep smiling through inner compromise and calling that strength. You have become skilled at functioning while fractured. You have learned how to carry conversation, complete tasks, answer messages, show up for obligations, and still remain deeply disconnected from the place where your spirit actually breathes. You have gotten so good at appearing fine that even you have started to believe your own performance. But I see what happens after the room empties. I see what happens when you are alone with your thoughts and the noise fades. I see the sigh you release when no one is asking anything from you. I see how quickly your mind races toward whatever numbs, distracts, delays, or comforts. I see how your heart tightens when I come near because part of you wants relief and another part of you fears what relief will require. My child, do not hide from that tension. Sit with it. Let it tell you the truth. That tension is not proof that I am far. It is proof that something in you is tired of being split. I know you do not always understand why I speak with urgency. I know sometimes you wish I would simply soothe you without confronting anything. I know you want comfort, and I do want to comfort you. I'm a caring father. I do not delight in your pain. I do not enjoy watching you struggle. But real comfort is not the same as spiritual sedation. I will not wrap your wounds in soft words while you keep returning to what keeps cutting you. I will not hand you momentary relief while you continue protecting the very thing that is draining your life. I love you too much for that. So hear me clearly, do not mistake my firmness for distance. Do not confuse my directness with rejection. I am not standing against you. I am standing between you and what is quietly destroying your peace. I am reaching into the pattern before it becomes a prison. I am interrupting the drift before it hardens into destiny. And yes, I am calling you to respond. I am asking you to stop. Stop minimizing what hurts you. Stop excusing what weakens you. Stop treating the leak in your soul like it is too small to matter. A house can look whole and still be flooding from within. A smile can look steady while the heart behind it is begging for air. You know this. You have lived this. So do not scroll past your own truth. Do not numb the wording. Do not tell yourself you will think about it later. Come here. Sit with me. Let me show you what has been breaking you, and let me lead you out before you call this damage your normal. You have been asking me for healing in some areas while quietly defending the habits, attachments, and compromises that keep reopening the wound. That is why some of your prayers feel like they hit the same wall. It is not because I am deaf. It is not because I am withholding love. It is because I will not help you build a comfortable life around the very thing that is keeping you unwell. You want peace, but you keep revisiting the places that stir chaos in you. You want clarity, but you keep feeding your mind voices that cloud your discernment. You want freedom, but you keep making room for what binds you in subtle ways. And because the chains are not always obvious, because they do not always look dramatic or dark or destructive on the outside. You have been tempted to think they are harmless. But listen to me now. Not everything that is killing your peace arrives looking dangerous. Some things arrive looking familiar. Some things arrive looking exciting. Some things arrive dressed in attention, affection, comfort, opportunity, routine, or harmless entertainment. Some things come with a gentle lie that says, "This isn't really hurting you." Yet afterward, you feel that sinking inside. You feel the fog settle. You feel your focus weaken. You feel your hunger for what is holy start to dull. You feel your prayer life become thinner, your spirit less alert, your joy less stable, your thoughts more restless. That is not nothing. That matters. I need you to become honest about what happens after certain choices. Pay attention. Watch the fruit. Stop looking only at whether something seems acceptable on the surface. Ask what it produces in you. Ask whether it sharpens your spirit or scatters it. Ask whether it draws you toward truth or leaves you spiritually thin. Ask whether it makes you more available to my voice or more vulnerable to confusion. This is not about legalism. This is about life. This is about the atmosphere of your soul. And you, my beloved, have let too many things take up space in your inner world without asking what they are costing you. So I am asking you now, do not just feel convicted and then move on. Take inventory. Look at your routines. Look at your conversations. Look at what you consume. Look at what you replay in your mind. Look at what you keep tolerating because you are tired of confronting it. Look at what you keep revisiting because it gives you quick comfort and long confusion. Be brave enough to say, "This has been hurting me." Be honest enough to admit, "I have been normalizing what is slowly hollowing me out." Then act. Remove what needs removing. Set the boundary. Delete what keeps pulling you back. End the private agreement you made with compromise. Stop making room for what always steals your peace after the moment passes. And do not wait until it becomes a public disaster before you respond. That is how people lose years. That is how hearts become numb. That is how souls grow quiet under the weight of unattended damage. I am speaking now because I want to spare you the cost of continued drift. I want to catch this while your heart is still responsive, while your conscience still stirs, while your spirit still recognizes the difference between true peace and false relief. Let me be very clear. The warning itself is mercy. The interruption is mercy. The discomfort you feel as I expose these things is mercy. Receive it as such. Do not run from it. Let it become the beginning of restoration. And there is something deeper I need you to understand, because what is quietly breaking you is not only what you do, it is also what you keep carrying. You have been holding emotional weight that was never meant to stay in your hands this long. You have carried old words that should have been returned to the dust long ago. You have carried betrayals like stones in your chest. You have carried disappointments that shape the way you now interpret every new possibility. You have carried shame that should have been surrendered, guilt that should have been confessed, fear that should have been brought into the light, and memories that still speak too loudly because you keep visiting them like they are proof of what your future must look like. My child, those burdens are not noble because they are familiar. They are not safe because you understand them. They are not part of your identity because they have stayed with you a long time. Some of the deepest damage in you has come from the way you keep rehearsing old pain until it starts to feel like wisdom. You tell yourself you are being careful. Sometimes you are simply being ruled by yesterday. You tell yourself you are protecting your heart. Sometimes you are building walls that keep love, trust, healing, and obedience standing outside while your pain sits comfortably inside. I am not asking you to deny what happened. I am not asking you to pretend you were not hurt. I was there. I saw it. I saw who left. I saw who lied. I saw what broke. I saw the door that slammed shut. I saw the prayer that seemed unanswered. I saw the version of you that sat in the dark wondering if anything would ever feel light again. I have never minimized your pain, so do not think I am doing that now. But I am telling you that carrying it this way is quietly breaking you. It is affecting how you hear me. It is affecting how you trust. It is affecting how quickly you expect disappointment. It is affecting the way you approach every invitation I place before you. So here is my command, and hear the love inside it. Put it down. Bring it here. Stop clutching what has already cost you enough. Open your hands. Release the old story that says you must brace yourself before every blessing. Release the lie that says heartbreak made you wiser when in truth it mostly made you guarded. Release the habit of revisiting what I have already offered to heal. Let me touch the memory without you flinching away. Let me into the room you keep locking. Let me into the place where your anger still burns low like hidden embers. Let me into the place where your shame still whispers at night. Let me into the place where you still secretly believe you are too damaged to fully change. You are not too damaged. You are not too late. But you are too loved for me to stay silent while you keep bleeding slowly from wounds you refuse to hand over. So breathe now. Stay with me. Do not rush this. Name what has been breaking you. Speak it plainly. Then lay it down. And when you do not pick it back up because the familiar ache feels easier than the uncertainty of healing. Healing can feel strange at first. Freedom can feel exposed before it feels light. But keep wanting. Keep releasing. Keep listening. I am not trying to scare you. I am trying to stop what is quietly breaking you before it becomes the story you settle into. I am your father. I know the difference between what is shaping you and what is silently stealing from you. Trust me enough to let me interrupt it now. My child, I need you to hear this without flinching away, because it is one of the most important truths I can place before you right now. You thought my patience meant permission. You looked at the way I kept loving you, kept protecting you, kept speaking to you, kept letting the sun rise over your life, kept giving you breathe, kept preserving you from consequences you did not even fully understand. And somewhere in that steady kindness, you began to assume that I must be comfortable with your distance. You thought because I did not shut the door immediately, that meant I approved of the room you stayed in. You thought because I did not strike the ground under your feet, that meant the path was safe. You thought because I kept blessing you in some ways, that meant I was endorsing everything else. But my child, that is not what my patience has been. My patience has been mercy. My patience has been time. My patience has been space for repentance, space for honesty, space for your heart to wake up without being crushed under the full weight of what your choices could have produced. I have been kind to you. Yes, I have been incredibly kind to you. I have held back consequences you never saw. I have blocked doors you would have walked through if I had not intervened. I have softened certain impacts. I have kept you from some collisions that would have shattered far more than you understand. I have whispered when I could have thundered. I have nudged when I could have allowed you to fall harder. I have given you chance after chance, not because I was endorsing your drift, but because I was hoping you would recognize the mercy in the delay and turn around while there was still room to do so. I want you to think about that carefully. My kindness was not an invitation to become comfortable. It was a sacred window. It was a chance to wake up before the consequences grew heavier. It was a chance to return before the pattern deepened. It was a chance to let conviction work while your heart was still tender enough to respond. And yes, I know why you misunderstood it. Human hearts often do this. You looked at what did not happen and assumed there was no danger. You looked at what I spared you from and assumed there was nothing to be spared from. You looked at the fact that life kept moving and thought maybe the issue was not as serious as your spirit first sensed. That is how drift becomes subtle. That is how compromise gets normalized. That is how a soul begins to live close enough to still say my name, yet far enough that the fire starts dimming. I am not telling you this to accuse you. I am telling you because the window of mercy is still open in this moment, and I do not want you to keep misreading it. Do not take today as proof that tomorrow will feel the same. Do not use my gentleness as a cushion for disobedience. Do not let the absence of immediate collapse convince you that what you are tolerating is harmless. Some damage unfolds quietly. Some consequences arrive slowly. Some losses are invisible until the heart has grown dull, the hunger has weakened, the discernment has thinned, and the joy that once came naturally now feels like a stranger. That is why I'm speaking now with warmth and weight. Wake up. Do not sleep through mercy. Do not waste the room my kindness has made. Do not call this patience permissioned ever again. There is something I need you to notice in your own life if you are willing to be honest with me. Think about the places where you kept going farther than you knew you should, and yet somehow you were not fully destroyed. Think about the conversations that could have ended much worse. Think about the decisions that should have cost you more. Think about the times you were one step away from a much deeper entanglement, and something interrupted it. Think about the seasons where you were emotionally frayed, spiritually distracted, and not nearly as guarded as you should have been. Yet somehow a boundary still held, a door still closed, a person still left, a plan still failed, an opportunity still dissolved, a moment still passed. You called some of those things bad luck. You called some of them disappointment. You called some of them rejection. But look again. Some of it was mercy with steel in its spine. Some of that was my hand in front of a moving train. Some of that was me refusing to let you go farther while you were still too numb to recognize how much was at stake. You were frustrated because you wanted the door open. I was protecting you because I could see the cliff behind it. You were hurt because the connection broke. I was guarding you because I could see what it would do to your soul if it continued. You were confused because the opportunity vanished. I was shielding you because what glittered in front of you was hollow behind the surface. My child, this is why I need you to stop interpreting everything through the lens of immediate comfort. Not every closed door is loss. Not every delay is denial. Not every interruption is punishment. Sometimes what feels like restraint is rescue. Sometimes what looks like limitation is love in armor. Sometimes what appears to be silence is me refusing to bless what would slowly consume you. That is why my patience must not be mistaken for agreement. My kindness has not been passive. It hath been active, protective, and purposeful. And now I am asking you to respond to it properly. Do not just thank me for the mercy while continuing the pattern that required it. Do not admire the rescue and then walk back toward the same edge. Do not say, God has been good to me, and then keep making choices that depend on my intervention rather than your obedience. That is not the life I want for you. I do not want you living 1 inch from disaster, counting on mercy to keep catching what wisdom and surrender should have prevented. I want you steady. I want you clear-eyed. I want you aligned. I want you to learn the beauty of not needing to be constantly rescued from the same cycle because you finally let the cycle end. So do this now. Go back in your memory and reread your life through the lens of mercy. Look at what I spared you from. Let it humble you. Let it soften you. Let it wake you up. Then honor that mercy with action. Step away from what keeps bringing you near the edge. Stop revisiting the same cliff and then calling my protection faith. That is not faith. Faith is hearing my warning and changing your path before the fall. And now, my beloved, I need to take you one layer deeper, because this is where your heart can truly turn. My kindness was giving you time to turn around. It was not merely preserving you from consequences. It was inviting transformation. It was saying, come back before this hardens. It was saying, let me reach you while you still feel conviction. It was saying, return while your spirit still recognizes my voice beneath the noise. That is why I keep coming after you with truth. That is why I will not let you stay comfortable in half-light. That is why I am not satisfied with you simply surviving under my mercy while continuing in patterns that slowly deaden your joy. I want more for you than repeated rescue. I want restored intimacy. I want honest surrender. I want a life where my kindness is not just something that keeps you afloat while you drift, but something that leads you back to shore, and that requires your response. So respond now. Stop testing the limits of mercy. Stop measuring how far you can go before the discomfort becomes too sharp. Stop assuming you can always return at the same level of sensitivity. The more you ignore conviction, the easier it becomes to live around it. The more you call compromise normal, the less strange it feels. The more you rely on my patience without honoring its purpose, the more likely you are to mistake spiritual dullness for peace. I do not want that for you. I want your heart awake. I want your conscience alive. I want your spirit responsive. That is why I am telling you plainly, turn around now. Turn around in the thought life. Turn around in the secret habit. Turn around in the relationship that keeps confusing your spirit. Turn around in the pattern of rationalizing what you know I have already addressed. Turn around in the way you keep delaying what should already be surrendered. Do not make this complicated. Repentance is not theatrical. It is directional. It is the moment when you stop walking one way and begin walking another. So change direction. Let your next step prove what your words have been promising. If you need to confess, confess. If you need to delete, delete. If you need to leave, leave. If you need to apologize, apologize. If you need to return to the secret place with me and rebuild what has gone neglected, then do it today. Not tomorrow. Not later, tonight if you remember. Today. Use the mercy while it is warm in your hands. Let the kindness that preserved you become the turning point that transforms you. And do not be afraid that I will shame you when you return. I am not standing here with crossed arms. I am standing here with open hands. I am not asking you to grovel. I am asking you to come home honestly. My patience was never permission to stay lost. It was proof that I wanted you back before the road got darker. My kindness was not soft approval. It was a holy pause, a breath of grace, a window of return. Step through it now. Honor it now. Receive it now. Let my mercy do what it was always meant to do, not simply keep you alive in the wilderness, but lead you out of it. My child, you have just heard how my patience was never permission. It was mercy making room for your return. And now I tell you this, the same mercy that held the door open for you is meant to become light for someone else who is still wandering in the dark. When you choose to support this mission, through super thanks, becoming a member, or giving through the PayPal link in the video description, you are sowing seeds into a field of souls I am still calling home. As it is written, cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you will find it again. And I am speaking that promise over you now. Your generosity becomes oil in the lamp, fire on the altar, and manna for hearts that are starving for truth. I see every seed, and I multiply what is given in faith with protection, provision, and quiet favor resting over your life. If your heart has been stirred by my mercy today, then let your hands respond with obedience. So now, support this work now, and become part of the harvest I am gathering. My child, you have called some things waiting, and sometimes that word has sounded noble in your mouth. It has sounded careful. It has sounded spiritual. It has sounded like wisdom. You have told yourself you are just discerning, just being patient, just trying not to move ahead of me, just making sure you do not make a mistake. And I understand why you say that. I know you have lived through enough disappointment to become cautious. I know you have seen what happens when people rush into things with their emotions leading and their spirit lagging behind. I know you have been hurt by doors that looked right and still ended in sorrow. I know you have learned to move slowly because some pain taught you to treat uncertainty like danger. I am not mocking your caution. I am not dismissing your desire to be wise. But I need you to let me search this word you keep using, because not everything you call waiting is actually trust. Sometimes what you call waiting is fear wearing a holy mask. Sometimes what you call discernment is delay dressed in spiritual clothing. Sometimes what you call prayerful caution is really the quiet refusal to step into something that requires courage. I need you to hear that without defending yourself too quickly. Let the truth sit with you. Let it breathe. Let it search the corners. Because there are places in your life where you already know enough to move, yet you keep circling the same question, revisiting the same thought, asking for one more sign, one more confirmation, one more inner feeling, one more emotional calm, one more guarantee that the outcome will not wound you. My child, that is not always patience. Sometimes that is the heart trying to negotiate with vulnerability. Sometimes that is the mind trying to build a fence around uncertainty so high that nothing risky, beautiful, or transformational can get through. And that fence may feel safe, but it can become a prison if you stay there too long. You have been standing at the edge of certain decisions for so long that the edge has started to feel like home. You have become familiar with the doorway but uncomfortable with walking through it. You have learned how to talk about the next step without taking it. You have learned how to stay near conviction while avoiding commitment. You have learned how to keep the language of faith while secretly feeding the instincts of fear. That is why I am speaking now. Not to shame you, but to unmask what has been hiding under words that sound righteous but are quietly costing you time, peace, and progress. I want you free from fake safety. I want you free from spiritualized hesitation. I want you free from the endless loop of almost. So stop and ask yourself honestly, where have you already heard me, yet kept asking for more because more time feels safer than movement? Where have you already felt the nudge, seen the pattern, recognized the truth, but kept calling it not yet because the next step asks for surrender, honesty, or risk? I am not asking you to become reckless. I am asking you to stop calling fear wisdom when deep down you know the difference. You know the feel of my peace. You know the feel of my conviction. You also know the feel of anxious delay. You know what it is like when your spirit is ready but your fear keeps inventing reasons to wait. So listen to me now. Stop hiding behind the word waiting if what is really happening is avoidance. Come out from behind the holy mask. Let me name the fear. Let me expose it gently. Then let me walk you through it. I know why fear has become so persuasive in you. Fear has not always sounded dramatic. It has often sounded reasonable. It has often spoken in a calm voice. It has often used logic, timing, history, past pain, and just being careful as its chosen language. It has not always shouted, "Don't move." Sometimes it has whispered, Just wait a little longer. It has not always said, disobey. Sometimes it has said, be sure first. It has not always said, turn away. Sometimes it has said, you can revisit this tomorrow. That is why it hath been hard for you to recognize. Fear that arrives like a storm is easier to identify. Fear that arrives like a thoughtful advisor is more dangerous, because it can sit beside your discernment and borrow its vocabulary. It can make you feel wise while quietly draining your courage. It can make you feel responsible while slowly training you to mistrust any step that does not come with guarantees. My child, you have been living in that tension more than you realize. You have asked me for certainty in places where I was offering trust. You have asked me to explain the whole road when I was asking you for one faithful step. You have asked me to remove all discomfort before obedience, when in truth some of the discomfort is the very thing that reveals how much you have been leaning on control instead of surrender. Let me say this clearly, because I want it to settle into you. Real waiting produces deeper trust, sharper peace, and clearer alignment. Fearful delay produces tighter muscles, more inner arguments, endless second-guessing, and a strange fatigue that follows you even after rest. Look at the fruit. That is how you will know. If what you are calling waiting keeps making you more tangled, more avoidant, more emotionally stalled, more obsessed with outcomes, more dependent on certainty, and less willing to act on what you already know, then do not flatter it by calling it holy. Name it accurately. Call it fear. Bring it into the light. Once you do that, it loses some of its power. Once you stop giving it sacred language, it becomes easier to confront. So do that now. Say to me, Father, I have been afraid. Not because I need the sentence, but because you need the honesty. Tell me where the fear lies. Is it fear of being wrong? Fear of being seen? Fear of losing comfort? Fear of disappointing people? Fear of closing a door and feeling the grief afterward? Fear of stepping into a calling that feels larger than the version of yourself you have learned to manage? Name it. Then do not worship it. Do not consult it like a prophet. Do not let it sit at the head of the table while truth waits outside. Let it be present if it must, but do not let it lead. Bring it to me. Hand it over. Ask me for courage, not guarantees. Ask me for steadiness, not full control. Ask me for the strength to move while your heart still trembles. Then move. If there is a call to make it. If there is a boundary to set it. If there is a habit to stop feeding it. If there is a step toward your calling that you have delayed because you keep waiting to feel ready, take the smallest real action today. Fear weakens when obedience becomes practical. Do not just pray about the next step. Step into the next step and let the prayer carry you while you do it. And I want to say something that may break a chain in you if you will let it. You do not need to feel fearless to be faithful. You do not need to feel completely calm to be aligned. You do not need to wait until every question is answered to take the next honest step with me. Some of the holiest moments in your life will not feel like floating. They will feel like trembling trust. They will feel like shaky hands, moist eyes, a deep breath, and a quiet yes. They will feel like obedience with your heart beating fast. They will feel like walking forward while part of you still wants to run back. That does not make the obedience weak. That often makes it more beautiful. I am not asking you to become emotionally invincible before you follow me. I am asking you to stop making emotional comfort the price of obedience. If you wait for the perfect internal weather, you may stay on the shore forever while the boat of your calling drifts farther out. And you were not made to live forever on the shore, talking about the water, studying the water, admiring the water, praying about the water. while secretly fearing what it means to step in. I made you for movement. I made you for trust. I made you for more than careful circling around the places that require courage. So hear me now with love and urgency. Take off the holy mask. Stop calling your avoidance by prettier names. Stop rehearsing the same internal courtroom where fear keeps making its case. Step out of the loop. Choose the direction. Let the yes be simple. Let it be real. Let it cost you something. You do not need a dramatic moment. You need an honest one. You do not need a thunderclap. You need a step. You do not need more language around the fear. You need a response to the truth. And I will meet you there. I will meet you in the awkward first movement. I will meet you in the aftershocks of the decision. I will meet you when the old patterns protest. I will meet you when your emotions wobble after you obey. I will meet you when you wonder if you really did the right thing. I will not abandon you because the step felt hard. I will steady you because the step was faithful. That is how this works. That is how growth happens. That is how fear loses territory. That is how waiting becomes real instead of counterfeit. So come now. Come with your questions, but do not let them become chains. Come with your caution, but do not let it become a cage. Come with your trembling, but do not let it keep you rooted in the wrong place. I am your Father. I know the difference between wisdom and fear wearing a holy mask. Trust me enough to let me expose it. Then trust me enough to walk. My child, if you keep looking back, you will keep missing the moment I am calling you into. I know you do not always realize how often your mind returns there. I know some of it happens quietly, almost automatically. You revisit old conversations. You replay old decisions. You re-enter old disappointments. You mentally stand in old doorways, touching old handles, wondering what would have happened if someone had chosen you, if the plan had worked, if the timing had been different, if you had spoken differently, if you had moved sooner, if you had stayed longer, if you had left earlier, if you had been stronger, wiser, calmer, more patient, less trusting, more healed, less afraid. I know the loops. I know how subtle they can be. I know how quickly memory can disguise itself as reflection when it is really becoming attachment. I know how easily nostalgia can become a chain when it is fed often enough. And I know that some of what you are looking back at is not even something you truly want anymore. Sometimes you are not looking back because the old thing is still good. Sometimes you are looking back because the unresolved ache of it still has access to you. Sometimes you are looking back because your mind is trying to recover control over a story that ended without your permission. Sometimes you are looking back because part of you believes that if you understand it enough, revisit it enough, analyze it enough, you will somehow be able to take the sting out of it. But my child, some things do not heal because you keep revisiting them. Some things heal because you finally stop bowing your attention to them and let me carry what you cannot untangle by yourself. I need you to hear this clearly. Looking back has been stealing your present. It hath been diluting your sensitivity to what I am doing now. It has been draining emotional energy that you need for the step in front of you. It has been pulling your focus away from the fresh invitation in this hour because part of you is still emotionally negotiating with yesterday. And the cost of that is not small. When your eyes stay fixed behind you, even in subtle ways, you become slower to recognize the holy moment in front of you. You miss the open hand because you are still staring at the closed one. You miss the new voice because you are still listening for the old echo. You miss the path opening under your feet because your mind keeps walking roads that already ended. I am not asking you to erase your past. I am not asking you to deny what happened. I am not asking you to act like your wounds did not shape you. I am asking you to stop treating backward focus as if it is helping you move forward. It is not. It is keeping you suspended. It is keeping you emotionally split. It is keeping your spirit from fully leaning into the life I am breathing in front of you. So stop. Stop revisiting what I have already called finished. Stop making a home in the memory. Stop touching the bruise just to prove it still hurts. Stop letting yesterday borrow strength from today. Turn your face toward me. Lift your eyes. Let the past be a place you learn from, not a place you keep living in. There is a moment in front of you right now, and it matters. It carries instruction. It carries healing. It carries movement. It carries the beginning of something you will not even recognize if you keep staring over your shoulder. So come with me now. Come out of the replay. Come out of the mental courtroom. Come out of the fantasy where old outcomes get rewritten. The life I am speaking to you about does not live back there. It is here. It is now. It is in the step you keep postponing because your eyes are still turned toward what already ended. I know why you keep looking back. I know it is not always because you want the old thing itself. Sometimes you want the version of you that existed before the loss. Sometimes you want the innocence you had before the betrayal. Sometimes you want the hope you carried before the disappointment hardened something in you. Sometimes you want the simpler emotional landscape you lived in before the confusion arrived. Sometimes you want the answer to why it happened. Sometimes you want to prove to yourself that you were not foolish for caring, not foolish for trusting, not foolish for believing. Sometimes you want closure that never came in the form you expected. Sometimes you are not chasing the old person, the old opportunity, or the old season. You are chasing resolution. And because you have not fully surrendered the ache, your mind keeps volunteering to solve what only my presence can settle. My child, resolution is not always found in explanation. Closure is not always found in one final conversation. Peace is not always found in understanding every detail. Sometimes peace begins when you stop demanding that the past justify itself before you release it. That is a hard truth, but it is a freeing one. Some chapters will never explain themselves in a way that satisfies the wound. Some losses will never answer all your questions. Some endings will remain partially unfinished in your understanding. But they do not have to remain unfinished in your spirit. That is where I come in. That is where surrender becomes sacred. That is where you stop asking memory to heal what only my touch can restore. So bring me the unfinished feeling. Bring me the ache that still rises when a certain name, place, season, word image crosses your path. Bring me the resentment you still carry toward the person who left, the dream that failed, the version of yourself you wish you had been. Bring me the self-accusation. Bring me the quiet shame. Bring me the secret fantasy that maybe if you had done one thing differently, your life would have unfolded in a clear way. Lay it here. Put it down. Do not keep carrying it like a private relic. It is too heavy, and it is too expensive. You are paying for it with attention, with energy, with clarity, with spiritual momentum. That is too high a price. So obey me now in something practical. When the old loop begins, interrupt it. Do not sit there and let it run unchecked like a film you know by heart. Catch it early. Speak to it. Say, that chapter is over. Turn your mind. Open your mouth in prayer. Stand up and move your body if you need to. Change the environment. Write the truth. Speak my name. Redirect your focus before nostalgia or regret gains traction. This is not denial. This is discipline. This is how freedom grows. You are not weak because the past still tries to call your attention. You are learning how not to answer every call. It matters. Practice it. Repeat it. Protect your present. Every time you choose not to feed the backward gaze, you strengthen your capacity to live in the now with me. And the now is where your healing will deepen. The now is where your next instruction will become clear. The now is where peace becomes practical instead of theoretical. And I want to take this even deeper, because sometimes looking back is not only about grief or regret. Sometimes it is about identity. You have become so accustomed to certain old narratives that they still shape how you see yourself, even when I am calling you into something larger. You still think of yourself through old failures. You still introduce yourself inwardly through old wounds. You still expect certain outcomes because of old disappointments. You still brace in moments where I am inviting trust because your mind has been trained by old evidence. That is another form of looking back, and it is just as costly. When you keep defining yourself by who you were in the old season, you become less available to who I am calling forward now. You stay loyal to a smaller version of yourself because it feels familiar. You stay inside old emotional clothes because they fit the wound, even though they no longer fit the calling. My child, you cannot keep introducing yourself to the present through the vocabulary of the past. You cannot keep saying, "This is just how I am," when much of what you are describing is actually what pain trained you to become. You cannot keep living as if old patterns are permanent personality traits. Some of what you call me is simply unhealed repetition. Some of what you call my nature is an old defense. Some of what you call my ways a learned response that I am actively inviting you to outgrow. So let me say this with tenderness and authority. Stop identifying with what I am trying to deliver you from. Stop naming yourself by your old season. Stop anchoring your expectations in what broke before. Stop bowing to the emotional weather of yesterday when I am giving you fresh air today. Stand up in the present. Let me rename the moment. Let me reteach your instincts. Let me show you what it feels like to trust again without becoming naive, to hope again without becoming reckless, to move again without creating the corpse of old stories behind you. There is a moment I am calling you into, and it needs your full attention. It needs your face turned forward. It needs your hands free. It needs your spirit unhooked from the endless backward glance. So make the decision now. Do not merely agree with this in your heart. Practice it with your mind, your schedule, your conversations, your habits. Refuse the old loops. Refuse the old shrines. Refuse the old emotional rituals that keep rebaptizing you into pain I have already offered to heal. Bless the past if you must. Learn from it if you can. Bury what was lost honestly. Then release it. Close the door. Turn around. Walk with me. If you keep looking back, you will keep missing the moment I am calling you into. But if you turn now, truly turn, inwardly and practically, you will begin to notice something beautiful. The moment in front of you has been waiting for you longer than you knew, and I am standing in it, ready to meet you there. My child, you have heard me calling you to stop looking back and to step fully into the moment I have prepared for you. This moment is not only about your healing, it is also about the lives that will encounter my voice because you chose to move forward instead of remaining silent. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a gift through the PayPal link in the video description, you are helping my word travel farther than this single message, reaching hearts that are still trapped in yesterday. I declare over you what my word says. Those who sow in tears will reap with psalms of joy, and I am turning your obedience into a river that carries life to many. Your seed becomes light in places where confusion once ruled, oil in lamps that were about to go dark, and bread for souls that are hungry for truth. I see your willingness, and I release multiplication, protection, and divine favor over what you place in my hands. Do not hesitate in this moment of calling. Give now, support the spreading of my word now, and step into the forward-moving life I am inviting you into. My child, the door is still open right now, but it will not stay open just because you keep standing near it. I need you to hear that clearly, not as a threat but as truth wrapped in mercy. There are moments in your life when I bring you to a threshold, and that threshold carries grace. It carries invitation. It carries a nearness that is specific to that moment. It carries the tenderness of a season where your heart is being called, stirred, wakened, pressed, and drawn toward a decision that matters. And that is where you are right now. You are near a door. You have been near it for a while. You have felt it. You have sensed it. You have stood in front of it with your hand hovering, your heart racing, your mind full of reasons, your spirit full of knowing. You know this is not just another passing feeling. You know this is not just another emotional wave. You know this is not just another one of those moments you can nod at and move past without consequence. Something in you already understands that what is in front of you matters. But here is where I need to correct what your heart keeps assuming. Proximity is not the same as entry. Standing close to obedience is not obedience. Feeling moved by the open door is not the same as walking through it. Admiring the invitation is not the same as responding to it. You have been near enough to feel the breeze from the opening, near enough to imagine what might be beyond it, near enough to talk about it, pray about it, cry about it, analyze it, revisit it, and even convince yourself that because you are close, you are somehow already participating in what is beyond it. But my child, you are not through the door until you move. And I say that because you have let nearness become a comfort zone. You have become familiar with standing in front of what I am calling you into. You have become emotionally attached to the threshold itself. You have learned how to live in the tension of almost, and that has started to feel normal. But the threshold is not your home. The open door is not a place to camp. It is a call to enter. And if you keep standing near it without stepping through, do not assume it will remain unchanged forever. Seasons shift. Invitations mature. Brace windows move. The open door in front of you right now carries a certain tenderness, a certain immediacy, a certain warmth of mercy. That warmth is meant to move you, not merely comfort you while you delay. I am not saying the whole future disappears if you hesitate. I am saying that the shape of the invitation can change. The softness of this moment can become something sharper later. The gentle nudge can become a harder lesson if you keep resisting what is being offered now. Why would you choose that? Why would you wait for what could be entered in tenderness to later require breaking under pressure? Do not do that to yourself. Do not make crisis teach what surrender could have learned in peace. Step now. Walk now. Do not just stand near the open door because it feels spiritual to be close. Go through it. If the door is repentance, repent. If the door is confession, confess. If the door is leaving, leave. If the door is forgiveness, forgive. If the door is ending the pattern, end it. If the door is returning to prayer, kneel now. If the door is a practical boundary, set it today. Do not keep decorating the threshold with beautiful intentions. Enter. The door is open right now. Honor it that by moving, not by lingering. I know why you keep standing there. I know the threshold itself has become emotionally complicated for you. There is safety in almost. There is comfort in possibility. As long as you stay near the door without going through it, you can keep the old life and still imagine the new one. You can keep the compromise and still feel close to conviction. You can keep the familiar and still fantasize about transformation. You can keep the attachment and still say you are discerning. You can keep the old habit and still call yourself in process. That is why the threshold has become seductive. It lets you feel spiritually engaged without requiring full surrender. It lets you feel close to the next season while still feeding the old one. It lets you keep options alive that true obedience would close. My child, that is too expensive. The threshold was never meant to become a refuge for indecision. It was never meant to become a hiding place where you could touch the edge of change without paying the cost of entering it. The longer you stay there, the more exhausting it becomes. That is why you feel stretched. That is why you feel emotionally split. That is why you feel like your spirit is pressing forward while your habits keep tutting backward. That is why peace feels partial. You are living in the hallway between worlds, and hallways are not meant for permanent living. They are for transition. So stop trying to make the threshold comfortable. Stop trying to make almost feel like enough. Stop asking me to bless the in-between when I have already made it clear it is time to move. The old life will keep calling. The new life will keep inviting. And if you remain undecided, you will continue paying the cost of both without enjoying the fullness of either. That is not what I want for you. So decide. Make the threshold temporary again. Turn it back into what it was meant to be, a moment of passage. If fear rises, let it rise and keep walking. If grief rises, let it rise and keep walking. If uncertainty whispers, hear it and keep walking. You do not need every emotion to agree before your feet obey. Take the next real step. Touch the practical thing. Do not keep this abstract. If you know the door requires you to end a connection, do it. If it requires you to remove access to the thing that keeps pulling you back, do it. If it requires you to speak truth you have been avoiding, speak it. If it requires you to reorder your mornings, start tomorrow and prepare tonight. If it requires you to come clean with me and stop calling hidden compromise a struggle, then call it what it is and surrender it. You do not need more contemplation here. You need movement. The threshold has already taught you enough. The only lesson left is the one you learn by crossing it. So cross it. Step in. Let your body feel what your spirit has already known. Do not let the enemy convince you that standing near the door is somehow the same as faithfulness. It is not. Faithfulness moves. Faithfulness crosses. Faithfulness does not build a nest in the doorway. And I want to speak one more word into the deepest part of your heart, because I know that sometimes you fear what will happen once you go through. You fear that the old support system, as flawed as it is, will be gone. You fear the silence after the ending. You fear the emptiness after the habit is cut off. You fear the loneliness after the wrong relationship is released. You fear the awkwardness of the new rhythm. You fear the stretch of real prayer when there is no noise to numb you. You fear the version of yourself that will have to emerge when the old patterns are no longer cushioning you. I understand that fear. I do. But hear me now with all the fatherly certainty I can place in your soul. What waits for you through the door is not emptiness. It is root. It is air. It is truth. It is a cleaner atmosphere. It is a deeper kind of peace than the threshold can ever offer. It is the beginning of alignment. It is the place where your spirit stops being split between what you know and what you keep delaying. It is the place where your inner world can finally stop living on borrowed time. And yes, some of the first steps beyond the door may feel strange. Freedom often feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. Obedience can feel exposed before it feels peaceful. The new rhythm can feel quiet before it feels full. But do not mistake unfamiliarity for absence. I am through the door. I am not standing behind you asking you to go where I refuse to go. I am ahead of you. I am in the room you have been afraid to enter. I am in the new rhythm. I am in the silence after the surrender. I am in the space that opens when the old thing ends. I am in the first night after the number is deleted, in the first morning after the habit is interrupted, in the first prayer after the mask comes off, in the first breath after the threshold is finally crossed. I will meet you there. I will not shame you there. I will steady you there. But you must come. Do not stay standing near what I am asking you to enter. Do not keep calling the open door a comfort when it is an assignment. The door is still open right now, and that is mercy. That is grace. That is love making room for your yes. But it will not stay open just because you keep standing near it. So honor the moment. Honor the invitation. Honor the mercy. Step through. Enter. Cross over. Let the threshold end. Let the old season lose its grip. Let your feet tell the truth your spirit has already known. Come now, my child. Come through the door. My child, if you hear me now, then prove it by what you do next. I say that with love, but I say it with firmness because I do not want this message to become one more emotional experience that leaves you stirred for a moment and unchanged by tomorrow. I do not want you to feel deeply and then quietly return to the same patterns. I do not want you to nod in agreement and then drift back into delay. I do not want you to tell yourself, "That was powerful," and then let the power dissolve because nothing in your real life moved after the words ended. My child, hearing me is not measured by how strongly you react while I speak. Hearing me is measured by what you do when the room gets quiet again. Hearing me is measured by what you choose when no one is watching. Hearing me is measured by what you stop touching, what you finally leave, what you finally end, what you finally confess, what you finally surrender, what you finally begin. I have been patient with you. I have spoken gently. I have repeated myself in different ways because I love you, and because I know how easily your heart can try to escape the weight of a direct call by turning it into a feeling instead of a decision. But this is where I need you to stop turning revelation into sentiment. This is where I need you to stop admiring conviction and start obeying it. This is where I need you to let the next action in your life become the evidence that my voice reached you. Do not tell me you hear me if you keep the same access. Do not tell me you hear me if you leave the same door cracked open. Do not tell me you hear me if you keep nursing the same attachment while calling it something I'm still processing. Do not tell me you hear me if you keep choosing noise over my presence, compromise over peace, fantasy over truth, delay over obedience, proximity over entry, intention over action. I am not looking for a dramatic promise from you. I am looking for honest alignment. I am looking for the kind of response that can be seen in the next hour, in the next conversation, in the next private choice, in the next boundary, in the next act of surrender. That is where truth becomes visible. That is where love becomes embodied. That is where repentance becomes real. So let me ask you directly, and do not run from the question. What will you do next? Not someday. Not after I think about it. Not once I calm down. What will you do next? Will you keep standing at the threshold? Will you keep touching what I told you to leave? Will you keep asking for peace while protecting what disturbs it? Will you keep listening to noise while saying you miss my voice? Or will you finally let this moment become the dividing line between who you have been and who I am calling forward? Decide. Decide now. Let the next thing you do carry the weight of your yes. Let your obedience interrupt the old script. Let your action tell the truth your heart has been hearing. If you hear me now, then prove it by what you do next. And I want you to understand something important. because I know the word prove can awaken unhealthy striving if you mishear me. I am not asking you to prove your worth to me. You do not have to earn my love. You do not have to perform your way into my heart. You do not have to impress me with religious intensity. I loved you before this message, during this message, and I will love you after this message. That is not what is at stake. What I am talking about is not worth. I am talking about agreement. I am talking about whether the truth you say you received actually gets permission to govern your next step. You have spent enough time in seasons where you felt deeply but did little. You have spent enough time mistaking emotional resonance for transformation. You have spent enough time in the half-light of I know I need to change while living in ways that never quite changed. My child, that gap between what you know and what you do has exhausted you more than you realize. It has made your spirit feel divided. It has made your peace feel fragile. It has made your confidence weaker because every delayed response teaches part of you that you cannot trust yourself to follow through. That is why your next action matters so much. Your next action is not only about obedience to me, it is also about rebuilding trust within your own soul. When you respond quickly to truth, something inside you strengthens. When you hear and act, your spirit starts to feel integrated again. When you stop negotiating with what you already know, your inner world becomes less noisy. That is why I want the response to be immediate and tangible. Not because I need theater, but because you need alignment. To make the next action concrete. If the thing is a person, deal with the person. If the thing is a habit, remove the access. If the thing is a lie you have been living under, write the truth and speak it aloud. If the thing is a secret compromise, confess it to me honestly and bring it into safe light where needed. If the thing is your neglected prayer life, do not promise to pray more later. Deal now, stay now, begin now. If the thing is forgiveness, release the debt before bitterness builds another room inside you. If the thing is the noise, turn it off. Sit in the silence. Stay there. Let me meet you there. If the thing is the old door, stop touching the handle. Walk away and do not circle back. If the thing is the threshold, step through it before fear has time to draft another argument. My child, this is how breakthrough often begins, not with a dramatic public moment, but with one honest, costly, visible act of obedience that breaks the old agreement. That first act matters more than you know. It sends a signal to your whole inner world. It tells your flesh that it is no longer in charge. It tells fear that it is no longer the voice at the head of the table. It tells the delaying version of you that its season is over. It tells your spirit, we are moving now. So do not overcomplicate this. Stop searching for the perfect response. Choose the true one. And do it. Let the next thing be holy because it is honest, not because it is dramatic. And now I want to speak to the part of you that worries about what happens after the first step, because I know how your mind works. You can hear a message like this, feel the urgency, know what I am saying, and still get tangled in thoughts like, what if I fail again after this? What if I respond now and then struggle later? What if I mean it in this moment but my emotions change tomorrow? What if I take the step and the old craving returns? What if the loneliness hits after I let go? What if the silence feels too loud? What if I cannot sustain it? My child, listen carefully. I am not asking you to manufacture the whole future in this one moment. I am asking you to honor this one moment with a real yes. Tomorrow will have its own grace. The next temptation will have its own decision. The next wave of emotion will have its own invitation to return to me. But this moment has one assignment. Respond. Do not burden the present with all the hypothetical battles of the future. Do not let imagined weakness tomorrow become an excuse for disobedience today. You do not need to prove you will never struggle again. You need to prove that right now, when I am speaking clearly, you are willing to obey. That is enough for this moment. I will meet you in the next one. I will strengthen you in the next one. I will correct you if you wobble. I will restore you if you stumble. But I will not let fear of tomorrow become permission to ignore me today. So stop looking that far ahead. Come back to this breath. Come back to this room. Come back to this decision. What is the next right thing? Do it. Then do the next right thing after that. Build the future out of repeated present tense obedience. That is how lives change. That is how cycles break. That is how identities shift. That is how old agreements die. That is how healing deepens. That is how peace becomes more than a passing feeling. So do not tell me you are waiting for the perfect internal state. Do not tell me you are waiting for fear to disappear. Do not tell me you are waiting until the desire to go back is completely gone. If you hear me now, then let the proof be simple, strong, and immediate. Stand up. Turn it off. Delete it. End it. Leave it. Confess it. Block it. Unfollow it. Cancel it. Walk away. Kneel down. Open the word. Tell the truth. Send the message. Make the call. Step through the door. Choose the quiet. Protect your peace. Return to me. Let the next thing you do become your answer to everything I have said. And hear me one last time, my beloved, because I want this final word to settle deep in you with both urgency and hope. If you respond now, this is not the end of the message. It is the beginning of the life the message was trying to bring you into. I am not asking for a response because I enjoy demanding things from you. I am asking because I see what waits on the other side of your yes. I see the relief that comes when your inner world is no longer split between conviction and delay. I see the quiet that returns when you stop feeding what has been disturbing you. I see the strength that rises when you stop calling hesitation your identity. I see the tenderness that comes back to your prayer life when the hidden compromise loses access. I see the clarity that grows when the noise is cut off. I see the dignity that returns when you finally act like someone who believes my voice is worth obeying. I see the beginning of a cleaner, freer, more peaceful, more grounded life. And that life does not start later. It starts with the next thing you do. So do not waste this moment by turning it into admiration. Do not preserve it as inspiration and then betray it with inaction. Let it become obedience. Let it become movement. Let it become the turning point you remember, not because you felt something powerful, but because you finally moved in agreement with what I had been saying all along. I am here. I am near. I am not leaving you to do this alone. But I am asking for your answer now. Not a speech. Not a vow. Not a dramatic display. Just a real response. If you hear me now, then prove it by what you do next. My child, I have asked you a direct question. If you hear me now, what will you do next? One of the ways you answer me is by helping my voice reach the next soul who is standing where you once stood. When you respond with super thanks, by becoming a member, or by giving through the PayPal link in the video description, you are placing seed into a harvest field I am actively gathering. Remember what I have spoken, give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and that promise is alive for you right now. Your generosity becomes fuel for the lamp, water for the river, and fire that spreads my truth to hearts that are ready to wake up. I watch how you respond in moments like this, and I bless the hand that releases what it holds for my purpose. Let this be the action that proves your yes was real. So respond now, support this mission, sow your seed, and let your obedience carry my word to the nations. And once you have responded, let your heart grow still for a moment. What you have released in faith has already begun to move beyond what you can see. Now I turn my attention fully toward you, because even as you help carry this word to others, I have not overlooked what you are carrying within. This is where your yes becomes personal, where obedience opens the door for my voice to reach your deepest places. So pause, breathe deeply, and listen closely, because I am speaking directly to you now. My child, listen to me today. I am not speaking to the crowd. I am speaking directly to you. I see you. I see the real you. I see the heavy pressure at your job that makes your shoulders ache before your day even begins. I see the unspoken tensions in your family, the quiet arguments, the words left unsaid, and the heavy silence that fills your home. I know you feel completely overlooked, as if no one notices how hard you are trying to keep everything together. I see the fear of the future that wakes you up in the middle of the night, making your heart race and your mind wander. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach right now? That heavy, sinking feeling when you think about tomorrow? That is not from me. Let us undo it together, right here, right now. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath, just like the deep breath you take before you face a difficult challenge in your everyday life. I am with you. I am your peace. Understand this clearly. My timing is perfect and purposeful. You have been waiting for a long time. You have been asking me for a clear sign. You have been hoping that things will finally settle down, that your path will become easy, and that the storm will pass before you take a step. But I am telling you that the wait is over. The window of specific opportunity is opening today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Do not turn away from it. Stop telling yourself that you will obey me someday. Someday is a lie. Someday is a heavy chain that keeps you tied to your current pain and your daily anxiety. You tell yourself you will trust me when your bank account is full, when your family is perfectly happy, or when your job is fully secure. But delayed obedience is still disobedient. When I ask you to move, and you choose to stand still, you are saying no to the very miracles I have prepared for you. Break this cycle of someday through your faith right now. Faith is not waiting for perfect weather. Faith is stepping out of the door even when you see the dark clouds gathering. Think of the stillness you feel right now. It is like the quiet pause just before a major storm breaks. The air is heavy. The wind stops, but you know everything is about to change. That is exactly where your life is at this moment. Feel your heart right now. Why is my spirit stirring your heart at this exact moment? Because you are ready. I am calling you out of your hiding place. I am pushing you forward. I am moving, and I deeply want you to move with me. Look closely at the cost of remaining stationary while I am moving. If you stay exactly where you are, you will keep fighting the same exhausting battles. You will keep feeling that exact same pressure at work. You will keep walking in circles, repeating the same mistakes, and carrying the same heavy loads that drain your energy. Your life is too precious to waste on hesitation. Look at the clock on your wall. Every second that ticks by is a gift from me. I have given you this exact moment to make a choice. Choose faith. Choose action. Choose me. I am offering you a way out of the stress and the striving. I am offering you a way out of the fear. But you must take the first step. You must open the door. I will not force it open for you. Hear my voice calling your name. You not ignore this divine urgency. When you feel that sudden push in your spirit, that is me. When you feel that sudden burst of hope, that is me. You not push it away. Embrace it. Hold onto it tightly. I am ready to do the impossible in your everyday life, but you must be willing to move when I say move. Today is the day you break free from waiting. Today is the day you start walking. I will not wait for you any longer. I say this not because I am angry, but because I love you too much to let you miss your true destiny. Stand up. Take my hand. Let us walk into your new beginning right now. Look at the heavy load you are carrying on your shoulders right now. You are dragging the heavy bags of yesterday into the clean light of today. I see the exact memories that haunt you when you try to sleep. I see the financial mistake you made years ago that still makes you feel foolish. I see the relationship that broke apart, leaving you with a deep sense of guilt and failure. I see the harsh words you spoke in a moment of anger, words you wish you could swallow back. Stop carrying this dead weight. Lay down the burdens of your past failures at my feet right now. I never asked you to be the carrier of your own guilt. I sent my son to carry that for you. Release your grip on your past. Let it fall to the ground. Forgive yourself, my precious child, just as I have already completely forgiven you. Do you not understand that when you refuse to forgive yourself, you are arguing with me? You are telling me that my grace is not big enough to cover your mistakes. My grace is an ocean, and your mistakes are but a drop of water. Watch them disappear in the vastness of my love. I have wiped your record completely clean. You must stop reading a chapter of your life that I have already closed. Breathe in my mercy right now. Let the fresh air of my forgiveness fill your tired lungs. Break the chains of the ancestral patterns and the deep regrets that tie you down. I see the anger you inherited from your father. I see the constant, quiet worry you learned from your mother. These are old chains, passed down from generation to generation. But they stop with you. I give you the power to break these family cycles today. You do not have to repeat the same painful history. Step out of the shadow of your family tree and step into the bright light of my family. I am giving you a brand new bloodline. See your personal history as a school, not as a dark prison cell. You have spent so much time locking yourself in the jail of your past mistakes. You sit in the dark, punishing yourself over and over again. Open the door. Walk out. The things you went through were lessons to teach you wisdom, not sentences to destroy your future. You learned how to survive. You learned how much you truly need me. And now, take that hard-earned wisdom and use it to build your tomorrow. You not let your past mistakes become your permanent master. Refuse to let old labels define your beautiful new identity. People have called you a failure. They have called you not enough, broken or ruined. Maybe you have called yourself these terrible names while looking in the mirror. Rip those old labels off your chest today. They are lies from the enemy meant to keep you small and defeated. I call you chosen. I call you redeemed. I call you my beloved masterpiece. When the world tries to stick a label of shame on you, remember the label of grace I have placed over your heart. Experience the total freedom found in a clean slate through my grace. Today is completely new. The sun rose this morning just for you, washing away the darkness of yesterday. I am offering you a blank page. Take my pen. Let us write a new story together. Do not look backwards. You are not going that way. Look straight ahead into my eyes. Walk forward into the fresh, untainted grace of this very moment. Your yesterday is gone, but your today is bursting with my divine light. Listen to the quiet voice whispering in your mind right now. Identify the spirit of fear that constantly halts your progress and steals your joy. I know exactly how it sounds. It is that nagging voice that speaks to you while you are driving to work, or while you are washing the dishes, and tells you that you will fail. It tells you that you will run out of money, that your children will make bad choices, or that your health will suddenly fail. Call it what it is. It is not wisdom. It is a spirit of fear, and it does not belong in my child. Silence that lying voice today. Tell it to leave your mind immediately. Replace your endless what if with my eternal promise. I am with you. Your mind spins 100 different scenarios of disaster. What if the economy crashes? What if they fire me? What if I am left all alone? Stop this exhausting mental game. Whenever your mind tries to ask what if, I command you to answer it with my God is with me. If the storm comes, I am with you in the boat. If the fire burns, I am with you in the flames. There is no what if that is stronger than my presence. Rest your racing mind in the solid truth of my absolute protection. Take the very first step even when the path ahead is completely clouded. You want to see the whole staircase before you take a single step. You want a perfect guarantee that everything will be easy and safe. But life is like driving through a thick morning fog. You can only see a few feet ahead of your car, but you keep driving because you trust the road is there. Trust my road. Take the step I am asking you to take today. You do not need to see the destination. You only need to hold the hand of the guide. Move your feet, and the fog will clear as you walk. Find your deep courage in my solid promises rather than in your changing feelings. Your feelings are like the weather. One day you feel full of faith and sunshine, and the next day you feel dark and full of doubt. Do not build your life on the shifting sand of your emotions. Build your life on the solid rock of my word. When you feel terrified, declare my promises out loud. When you feel weak, speak my strength into the air. Do not wait to feel brave before you act. Act first, and the bravery will quickly follow. Understand how your fear mocks the awesome power of my indwelling spirit. I have placed the exact same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead inside your chest. You carry the power that created the universe. When you shrink back in fear over a difficult conversation or a challenging project at work, you are forgetting the massive power that lives inside you. Wake up to who you really are. Stop acting like a weak, defeated victim. Stand up tall. Throw your shoulders back. Let the mighty roar of my spirit rise up from deep within your soul. Victory entirely belongs to those who trust my supreme sovereignty. I sit on the throne of the universe. Nothing surprises me. Your current crisis did not catch me off guard. A medical report did not shock me. The sudden change in your plans was already factored into my divine strategy. Trust that I am completely in control of every single detail of your life. When you fully surrender your desperate need to control everything, you will finally find pure peace. Walk out of the shadow of fear today and step confidently into the sunlight of my total victory. Remember exactly who you are in my eternal kingdom. You have forgotten your royal identity. You walk through your day with your head down, feeling like a victim of your circumstances, a victim of the economy, a victim of other people's opinions. Stop living like a spiritual orphan. You are a direct child of the Most High God. The blood of the King flows through your spiritual veins. Wake up to your true status. You were not created to be pushed around by the pressures of this earthly world. You were created to rule and reign with me. Speak fierce life over the dead and dry areas of your weary soul. Look at the things in your life that seem entirely hopeless. Maybe it is your bank account, your marriage, or your own physical health. Stop agreeing with the enemy by complaining about how dead these things are. Open your mouth. Use your words to command life into those dry bones. Prophecy to your own future. Say out loud, "My family will thrive. My mind will have peace. My body will heal." Your tongue holds the incredible power of life and death. Choose to speak life today. Take immediate dominion over the endless distractions of the enemy. I see you losing hours of your precious life staring at the glowing screen of your phone. I see you drowning your mind in the noisy news, the angry politics, and the endless scroll of other people's fake lives. This is a deliberate trap designed to steal your divine focus. Break away from it. Put the phone down. Turn the television off. Command the noise to stop. Reclaim your time and your mental space. You are the master of your attention. Do not give it away to the enemy's cheap tricks. Walk through your normal day with the unshakable confidence of a child of the King. When you walk into your office, do not shrink back. When you walk into a difficult family gathering, do not cower in the corner. Walk with your head held high, not in human arrogance but in holy confidence. You carry my presence inside you. You bring the light of heaven into every dark room you enter. Let your posture reflect the massive authority I have placed upon your life. Be bold. Be strong. Be visible. Utilize the heavy spiritual weapons I have freely provided to you. You are trying to fight spiritual battles with earthly tools. You try to fix your anxiety with more money. You try to fix your loneliness with more social media. It will not work. Pick up the weapons I gave you. Use the heavy shield of unbending faith to block the fiery arrows of doubt. Use the sharp sword of my word to cut through the lies of the world. Put on the heavy boots of peace so you can stand firm when the ground shakes. Equip yourself right now. Ensure your daily words have power by aligning them perfectly with mine. If I call you blessed, but you call yourself cursed, your words will cancel out your own blessing. Stop cursing what I have heavily blessed. Stop calling yourself stupid, ugly, or incapable. Listen to what I say about you in my word, and let your mouth echo my exact sentiments. When your voice completely aligns with my voice, the universe must obey. Speak with my authority. Command your mountains to move, and watch them crash into the sea. My child, do not turn away now, for my heart is open wide and I am pouring out the very secrets of your destiny into your soul. It would deeply grieve me to see you walk back into the shadows of your old life just as I am preparing to hand you the keys to your kingdom. Stay with me, for if you leave now, you are leaving behind the very breath of life I am breathing into your future. Do not disappoint the love that has pursued you through every darkness. Stay and hear the rest of what I have ordained for you. Recognize the great danger of waiting for a special sign when I have already given you a clear command. You keep asking me to write a message in the sky, or to send a perfectly timed coincidence to tell you what to do. But I have already spoken to your heart. You already know the right thing to do. You know you need to forgive that person. You know you need to leave that toxic situation. You know you need to start using your gifts. Stop hiding behind the excuse of waiting on the Lord. I am waiting on you. Step out and obey what you already know. Prioritize the heavy eternal realities over your temporary daily routines. You spend so much of your energy worrying about what you will wear, what you will eat, and how you will pay for the next vacation. These things are dust. They will all fade away. Lift your eyes higher. Look at the eternal souls of the people around you. Look at the lasting impact you can make in my kingdom. Shift your focus away from building your temporary human comfort and start building my eternal kingdom. Invest your time in things that will actually last forever. break the terrible habit of spiritualizing your own deep hesitation. You tell your friends, "I am just praying about it," when the truth is, you are just terrified of failing. Do not use my holy name as a shield to protect your own cowardice. Fear is not a fruit of my spirit. If I have told you to move, then your endless praying is just a sophisticated form of stalling. Stop praying about the thing I already told you to do. Get up off your knees. Put your shoes on. Take the action I commanded. Discover the massive blessings that are securely locked behind your simple yes. You are standing in front of a heavy door, begging me to bless you. But the handle is on your side. The key to unlocking the floodgates of my favor is your absolute obedience. When you say yes to my promptings, even when it is highly uncomfortable, you turn the key. There is a whole new level of joy, provision, and purpose waiting for you on the other side of your obedience. Do not keep yourself locked out of your own promised land. Take serious stewardship of the fleeting moments I have gifted you today. Look at the clock. Time is the one resource you can never, ever get back. You treat your days as if you have an infinite supply of them. You say, "I will start serving next year. I will get serious about my faith next month." You are wasting the sacred currency of time. Treat this very hour as a holy gift. Be fully present. Love the people in front of you right now. Do the work I assigned to you right now. Understand deeply why today is the appointed day of your great breakthrough. The past is a tomb. You cannot change it. The future is a mystery. You cannot control it. But today is alive. Today is the exact moment where my power meets your faith. I am drawing a line in the sand right now. Step over it. Leave your spiritual laziness behind. Leave your endless excuses behind. Today is the day you finally wake up. Today is the day you start moving. Today is the day you say, "Yes, Lord, I am ready. Let us go." My child, listen to the gentle rhythm of your own heart beating in your chest right now. I want your spiritual heart to beat in perfect sync with mine. I am calling you to learn the beautiful discipline of immediate obedience. You know exactly what I am talking about. You have felt that sudden, quiet pull in your gut to call a lonely friend. You have felt that sudden thought to give a certain amount of money to someone in need. You have felt the sudden urge to bite your tongue and stay silent during a heated argument with your spouse. That is not just a random thought. That is my Holy Spirit gently nudging you. I'm asking you to stop ignoring those quiet moments. I want you to act on them instantly. Your habit of overthinking is destroying the beautiful moments I am trying to create for you. You feel my nudge, and immediately you start negotiating with me. You tell me that you will make that phone call tomorrow when you have more time. You tell me you will give that money after your next paycheck clears. You tell me you will apologize later when the other person apologizes first. Stop this endless negotiation. When you delay your obedience, you lose the sacred momentum I am building in your life. Swift action builds massive spiritual momentum. When you move the exact second I tell you to move, you step right into the flow of my miraculous power. Develop a quick yes, Lord reflex in your daily life. Think about how your body reacts when you accidentally touch a hot stove. You do not stop to think about it. You immediately pull your hand back. I want your spirit to react to my voice with that exact same speed. When I say move, you move. When I say speak, you speak. When I say rest, you put down your work and rest. This is not about me controlling you like a robot. This is about me leading you into the safest, most joyful path possible. True joy is never found in doing whatever you want. True, lasting joy is found right in the very center of my active will for your life. Understand that your intimacy with me grows only through your active following. You beg me to feel closer to you. You ask me to reveal my deep secrets to you. But I cannot show you the next step if you are still refusing to take the first step. You cannot steer a parked car. You must put your life in drive. As you walk with me, step by step, choosing to obey my small commands in your everyday life, our relationship will grow incredibly deep. You will begin to recognize my voice in the busy grocery store, in the noisy office, and in the quiet of your car. I'm inviting you to stop making your spiritual life so complicated. It is truly very simple. Hear my voice and do what I say. Do it today. Do it right now. The beauty of a surrendered heart is that it carries no heavy burden of decision-making. You do not have to figure out the whole complex plan. You only have to listen for my next instruction. Let go of your intense need to understand everything before you act. Trust my voice. Make your yes quick, make it confident, and watch how I honor your immediate faith with my immediate presence. I see you sitting tightly gripping the edges of your comfortable little boat. Your boat is your familiar routine. Your boat is the job that drains your soul but pays your bills. Your boat is that relationship that hurts you but feels less scary than being entirely alone. You know the boat is not where you belong anymore. You can feel the wooden boards rotting beneath your feet. Yet, you are terrified to leave it because the open water looks completely unpredictable. I am calling you right now. Stand up. Step out of the safety of your boat and walk into the glorious unknown with me. Leave behind the false security of your comfort zone. Comfort is the silent enemy of your spiritual growth. Nothing miraculous ever happens in the shallow, safe water. You keep asking me to use you mightily, but you refuse to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. You cannot have a massive miracle without a massive risk. I am asking you to do the thing that scares you. Start that difficult conversation. Apply for that position you feel unqualified for. Move to that new city. Write that book. Do not let the fear of looking foolish keep you trapped in a small, boring life. Keep your eyes fiercely fixed on me, and do not look down at the crashing waves. When you finally take that brave first step, the wind will howl. The dark waves of doubt will rise up. Your friends might question your sanity. Your own mind will scream at you to run back to the boat. This is the exact moment you must refuse to look at the storm. Look directly into my eyes. If you look at your massive bills, you will sink. If you look at your medical report, you will sink. But if you lock your gaze on my unchanging face, you will walk right over the top of your impossible problems. Discover today that my heavy grace is entirely buoyant and absolutely sure. You think that if you fail, you will drown in the deep ocean of ruin. It is a lie from the enemy. Even if your foot slips, my strong hand is already there to catch you before you go under. I will never let you drown. I am not calling you out to the deep water to destroy you. I am calling you out here to show you my incredible power. The thrill of experiencing the supernatural firsthand is reserved only for those brave enough to get their feet wet. Trust my strong grip more than you trust your own ability to swim. You do not need to figure out how to walk on water. Water walking is my job. Your only job is to obey and step out. You provide the willing feet. I will provide the solid ground beneath them. I am challenging you today to stop settling for a completely predictable life. I have wild, breathtaking adventures prepared for you. Stop clinging to the familiar wood of your sinking boat. Let go. Step out. I'm right here waiting for you on the wild waves. I'm calling you to activate a radical, unbending faith today. Look at the massive obstacles sitting right in the middle of your path. You stare at your empty bank account. You stare at the broken pieces of your marriage. You read the frightening headlines on the news. Your human logic tells you that these situations are completely impossible to fix. I am telling you to stop looking at the size of your problems and start looking at the massive size of your God. I demand that you believe in the beautiful things you cannot yet see with your physical eyes. Understand that your bold faith is the heavy currency of my heavenly kingdom. Here on earth, you buy things with paper money. In my kingdom, you access my infinite resources exclusively through your faith. When you bring me your doubt, your fear, and your endless complaining, your hands are entirely empty. But when you bring me a tiny, mustard seed amount of pure, raw trust, you hold the key to my eternal treasury. I do not require you to have a perfect track record. I do not require you to be physically strong. I only require you to ruthlessly trust my spoken word above your current reality. Move your impossible mountains by the pure size of your trust, not by the tiny size of your human might. You are exhausting yourself trying to dig through your mountain with a plastic spoon. You work longer hours, you manipulate situations, and you worry yourself into sickness trying to force a solution. Stop your frantic striving. Drop your tiny shovel. Open your mouth and speak to the mountain in my name. Command your mountain of debt to move. Command your mountain of depression to lift. Your physical strength can only do so much, but your faith in my name can rearrange the very fabric of the universe. Challenge the strict limits of your small human understanding. You love to put me in a neat, tiny box. You think I can only bless you in ways that make logical sense to your brain. If the spreadsheet does not balance, you assume I cannot provide. If the doctor says there is no cure, you assume the story is permanently over. I am the creator of logic, and I am not bound by its tight rules. I can make water flow from a dry rock. I can multiply a child's lunch to feed thousands. Let go of your desperate need to figure out exactly how I will save you. Just fiercely believe that I will. See every single obstacle in your daily life as a magnificent opportunity for my absolute glory. The harder your situation seems right now, the greater the testimony I am going to build out of it. I allowed this intense pressure in your life not to crush you, but to produce a diamond of faith that will shine brilliantly for others to see. Do not waste your deep pain by simply complaining about it. Use it as a dark stage to display my blinding light. Stand firm. Hold the line. Your radical, crazy faith is about to birth a miracle that will leave your enemies completely speechless. My child, you have just touched the hem of radical faith, but I am inviting you to let that faith overflow into action right now. I am moving with a divine urgency, and I am calling you to become a vital part of the river that carries my word to the thirsty and the broken. I see your desire to be a blessing, and I am inviting you to sow a seed today through a super thanks or a PayPal donation to help this mission reach the souls I have yet to touch. Do not hold back the manna I have given you. When you release what is in your hand, I will release the windows of heaven over your life. Your seed is a weapon that shatters the darkness in another person's world, turning their I can't into a glorious God can. I promise to multiply your sacrifice until your cup runs over with my abundant favor and protection. Hear my voice in this divine appointment and act with the boldness of a kingdom heir. Look to the link in the description or the heart below this video and plant your seed of faith immediately. Pause and feel the weight of my spirit upon you, for we are standing on the threshold of your greatest breakthrough. It would break my heart to see you settle for the crumbs of the world when I am inviting you to the banquet of my supernatural power. If you stop listening now, you are turning your back on the very miracles I have meticulously prepared for your hands to hold. I beseech you, my beloved, do not let your attention flicker. For the words I am about to speak are the difference between your survival and your total victory. My precious child, I am commanding you to completely cease your endless comparison to others in my vineyard. I watch you scrolling through the glowing pictures of other people's lives on your phone. You see their new houses, their smiling families, their impressive job titles, and their large ministries. You immediately look at your own messy life and you feel completely worthless. You feel like you are falling behind. Stop this toxic habit right now. I did not create you to run in their lane. If you keep looking sideways at what everyone else is doing, you will trip and miss the beautiful path I have laid out specifically for you. Discover the highly specific, incredibly important task I designed just for you. Before the foundation of the massive universe, I thought of your exact face. I gave you your specific personality, your exact quirks, and even your specific painful history, because I have a job that only you can do. You are not a random accident. You are a precise, divine instrument. Your calling might not put you on a large public stage. Your calling might be to love that one difficult child with extreme patience. Your calling might be to bring deep integrity to a corrupt office. Whatever it is, do not belittle it. It is vastly important to me. Realize that your bold yes affects thousands of lives you have not even met yet. You think your small daily obedience does not matter. You think nobody notices when you do the right thing in secret. I notice, and I use your hidden faithfulness to trigger a massive chain reaction in the spiritual realm. Your simple act of kindness today might prevent a stranger from giving up on life. Your honest work might inspire a younger person watching you from a distance. You are a crucial, necessary thread in my massive, eternal tapestry. If you pull your thread out because you think it is ugly, the whole picture suffers. Operate exclusively in the unique spiritual gifts I have heavily bestowed upon you. You keep trying to wear someone else's armor. You try to speak like that famous leader. You try to pray like your grandmother. Stop copying other people. I do not want a cheap imitation, I want the authentic you. If I made you a quiet encourager, then encourage with massive power behind the scenes. If I made you a bold speaker, then open your mouth and roar. Embrace your exact design. You will only find true power when you stop apologizing for who you are not and start boldly walking in who I created you to be. Stand up tall in the heavy, beautiful purpose I ordained for you before time began. Do not let the loud culture tell you what is valuable. The world values fame, money, and power. I value deep faithfulness, fierce love, and quiet obedience. Hold your head high as you walk through your normal, everyday life. Whether you are washing dirty dishes, crunching numbers at a desk, or preaching to thousands, you are doing holy work if you are doing it with me. Step boldly into your unique lane today. Run your specific race with joy. I am cheering you on with every single step. I am commanding you to wake up and see the invisible war raging around you right now. You are walking onto a massive, dangerous battlefield every single day wearing just your pajamas. You wonder why you feel so defeated by 10:00 a.m. You wonder why your mind is constantly attacked by dark thoughts, and why your peace is destroyed by one rude email at your office. You are entirely unprotected. I have heavily provided a complete suit of impenetrable armor for you, but it does you absolutely no good if it stays sitting in your closet. Put on my divine armor today. Gird yourself tightly with the thick belt of my truth. The world you live in is constantly shouting loud lies at you. The media lies, your insecurities lie, and the enemy lies. They tell you that you are a total failure, that your marriage is completely hopeless, and that you will always be broke. Wrap my absolute truth tightly around your waist. My truth holds your entire life together when everything else is falling apart. You are heavily loved. You are fully forgiven. You are deeply powerful. Speak these massive truths out loud until the lies of the enemy are completely starved to death. Wear the heavy breastplate of my righteousness to protect your fragile heart. The enemy loves to attack your heart with sharp arrows of deep guilt and heavy shame. He reminds you of everything you did wrong 10 years ago. He reminds you of your angry outburst yesterday. Do not try to block these arrows with your own good deeds. Your good deeds are too thin. Put on my righteousness. I have declared you completely clean. When the enemy aims for your heart, his arrows will shatter against the solid steel of my saving grace. Ready your feet right now with the solid shoes of my gospel of peace. You are walking over sharp rocks of conflict every single day. Arguments with your spouse, tension with your boss, endless drama on the internet. Without my peace, your feet will be cut and bleeding. But when you wear my peace, you can walk directly into a toxic office or a tense family gathering and completely change the atmosphere. You become a carrier of my calm. Step firmly. Stand your ground. Do not let anyone steal your God-given peace. Take up the massive shield of unbending faith and the solid helmet of salvation. The enemy shoots fiery arrows of intense panic into your mind at 3 o'clock in the morning. He attacks your thoughts with endless anxiety about tomorrow. Lift up your faith. Hold it high. Trust my character even when you cannot see my hand. Put on the helmet to guard your fragile mind. Do not let toxic, fearful thoughts build a nest in your head. Finally, pick up the sharp sword of my spirit, which is my spoken word. Stop fighting your daily battles with your angry opinions. Fight your battles by boldly declaring exactly what I have said. You are fully armed. Now, go fight and win. I am urgently shaking you awake right now. Open your spiritual eyes. You have fallen into a deep, dangerous sleep. You are sleepwalking through your own precious life. You go to work, you come home, you eat your dinner, you stare blindly at the television for hours, and then you go to bed. You wake up and repeat the exact same numb routine. You have lost your fire. You have lost your passion. You are entirely lukewarm, and it is slowly destroying your soul. I command you to completely shake off this heavy lethargy. Wake up to the massive spiritual reality happening all around you. Identify the invisible spirit of slumber that has wrapped itself around your mind. It whispers that nothing really matters. It tells you to just blend in with the crowd, to stop caring so much, to just survive the week. Do you hear that lazy voice? That is the enemy trying to neutralize your massive potential. He knows that if you ever fully wake up to my power, you will be completely unstoppable. So he heavily medicates you with endless entertainment, cheap comfort, and daily distractions. Spit out that toxic medicine today. I did not create you to simply exist. I created you to powerfully rule and reign. Seek the hot, blazing fire of my spirit to immediately reignite your freezing soul. You remember a time when you burned hot for me. You remember when my word excited you, when prayer felt electric, and when you eagerly looked for ways to serve others. You could have that intense fire back today. Do not settle for the cold ashes of your past experiences. Ask me right now to drop a fresh spark into your dry spirit. I am ready to consume your boredom and replace it with a wild, passionate purpose. Stay deeply watchful and fiercely sober-minded in your daily walk. The world is spinning out of control, and this is not the time to take a spiritual nap. I am calling you to be a vigilant watchman for your own family and your own community. Watch carefully what comes into your home. Watch closely who influences your children. Watch fiercely over your own daily habits. Keep your spiritual lamp trimmed and burning incredibly bright. When the dark night comes, your family will need your bright light to guide them to safety. Make a firm, unbending decision today to break out of your comfortable rut. Stand up. Change your daily routine. Fast from your endless social media. Turn off the noisy news. Spend your morning completely alone with me instead of rushing out the door. You must take aggressive action to break a spirit of slumber. Do not wait for a special feeling to hit you. Take the bold step first. Throw cold water on your spiritual face. I am calling your name loudly right now. Wake up, my beautiful child. The dawn is breaking, and I have massive, urgent work for you to do. Look very closely at the people you have surrounded yourself with today. I am talking about your closest friends, your daily coworkers, and the voices you listen to on your phone. Are they pulling you up toward my absolute truth, or are they dragging you down into their endless complaining and deep fear? I am commanding you to completely align your vital relationships with my divine will. You cannot walk in my supreme victory if you are constantly holding hands with people who completely celebrate defeat. Stop taking serious life advice from people who do not even know my name. Walk only in the pure, solid counsel that originates directly from my eternal throne. When you have a major decision to make about your career, your marriage, or your finances, where do you go first? You run to the internet. You ask your broken friends. You read a cheap self-help book. Stop insulting my massive wisdom by treating me as your absolute last resort. I am the creator of the entire universe. I know exactly how to fix your specific, complicated problem. Bring your messy questions to me. Sit quietly. Listen for my instruction, and absolutely refuse to move until your plan perfectly aligns with my voice. Align your deepest, most secret desires directly with my heart's longing. You are constantly frustrated because you are furiously chasing things I never actually told you to chase. You want the big promotion so you can look important. You want the expensive car so your neighbors will be deeply jealous. I will never bless a desire that is rooted in your human pride. I invite you to drop your selfish agenda right now. Ask me to break your heart for the exact things that break mine. When you finally seek my kingdom first above your earthly gain, I will happily add all these other wonderful things to your life. Understand the massive, explosive synergy of the body of Christ working in pure unity. I did not create you to be an isolated, lonely island. You are struggling so hard because you are trying to carry your massive burdens entirely alone. I have specifically placed wise, faithful believers around you, but your stubborn pride keeps you from asking them for help. Break down your high, protective walls today. Let trusted people into your messy life. Let them pray for you. Let them heavily support you. You need them, and they desperately need you. Find your ultimate, unshakable stability in a life that is built strictly on the rock. If you build your daily life on the shifting sand of a strong economy, a secure job, or human approval, you will completely collapse when the wind blows. And the wind will always blow. Align your daily schedule, your bank account, and your hidden thoughts with my solid word. When your entire life is perfectly lined up with my truth, you become completely unbreakable. The storm will loudly hit your house, the rain will fiercely pour down, but you will firmly stand your ground, deeply anchored in my eternal power. My child, can you feel the urgency in my voice? I am calling you deeper into the fire of my presence, and it would be a profound tragedy if you chose the cold comfort of distraction over the warmth of my divine counsel. My spirit is stirred with a holy jealousy for your time, and it would pain me to see you wander away just as I am revealing the blueprints for your restoration. Honor the sacrifice I have made to reach you today. Do not let the enemy steal your focus when your redemption is so close at hand. Look directly into the dark eyes of the giant of doubt that is currently terrorizing your mind. He is towering over you right now, shouting that your situation is completely hopeless. It points to your terrible medical report. It points to your massive pile of unpaid bills. It tells you that I have entirely forgotten about you. I command you to stop listening to this massive liar. Doubt is nothing but a dark shadow, and shadows completely disappear the exact second I turn on my blazing light. You must fiercely confront your doubt today. Remember my perfect, unblemished track record of faithfulness in your past seasons. Think back to the time you were completely terrified 3 years ago. Think about the massive crisis that almost broke you. Did I not faithfully rescue you? Did I not heavily provide for you when you had absolutely nothing left? I am the exact same God today. I have never dropped you, and I am certainly not going to start dropping you now. You are suffering from terrible spiritual amnesia. I command you to write down my past miracles and read them out loud until your giant of doubt completely shrinks. Feed your bold faith every single day until your deep fears completely starve to death. You are currently feeding your doubt a massive buffet. You watch hours of terrifying news. You obsessively research your worst-case scenarios on the internet. You complain to your friends about how bad everything is. Stop feeding the giant. I invite you to starve your fear right now. Cut off the negative noise. Open my word and heavily consume my massive promises. Fill your mind with so much of my truth that there is absolutely no room left for a single doubt to breathe. Realize deeply that I am infinitely bigger than any temporary problem you will ever face. Your problem feels like a massive mountain to you, but to me, it is barely a speck of dust. Do not insult my absolute power by constantly worrying if I am strong enough to handle your boss, your disease, or your debt. I hum the billions of stars in the black sky with just my spoken breath. I can handle your Tuesday afternoon crisis. Trust my flawless character entirely, especially when you cannot see my hidden plan. Convert every single I can't into a roaring God can. Your human logic is heavily screaming, I can't pay this. I can't survive this. I can't forgive this. You are entirely correct. You cannot. But I absolutely can. Step completely out of your weak human ability and step directly into my infinite power. Pick up a small stone of raw faith, load it into your sling, and boldly throw it right at the head of your doubt. Watch that massive giant crash to the ground. You belong to me, and absolutely nothing is impossible for us together. Allow my perfect love to completely permeate every single action you take today. Look closely at how you interact with the difficult people in your life. You naturally want to snap at your rude coworker. You want to give the silent treatment to your stubborn spouse. You want to honk your horn and yell at the driver who cuts you off in traffic. That is your weak human flesh reacting to a broken world. I am commanding you to completely rise above that cheap, common behavior. Let my supernatural love flow through your hands and your words. Love is not a soft feeling. It is a fierce, daily choice to seek the absolute best for someone who entirely deserves your anger. Manifest my deep patience right in the middle of your most frustrating trials. I see you standing in the long, slow line at the grocery store. I see you waiting endlessly for that important phone call to finally come. I see you dealing with a child who asks the exact same question 10 times. Your natural instinct is to sigh loudly, to roll your eyes, and to complain. Stop doing that. I am heavily using these exact, irritating moments to produce my perfect patience inside your soul. Take a deep breath. Refuse to let a minor inconvenience steal your massive joy. Your calm patience is a bright, shocking light in a world that is always rushing and angry. Use your intentional kindness as a strong bridge to reach the lost and hurting people around you. You walk past broken, bleeding people every single day. The cashier at the store is secretly crying inside. Your boss is carrying a massive burden of silent fear. Do not just look right through them. Smile directly into their eyes. Speak a word of genuine encouragement. Pay for a stranger's coffee. Your simple, practical kindness is not just a nice gesture. It is a heavy spiritual weapon that completely breaks down the thick walls of depression and deep loneliness. I will use your small acts of kindness to literally save lives. Make my pure goodness and my unbending faithfulness your absolute hallmark. When you say you are going to do something, do it. If you promise to pray for a friend, actually stop and pray for them. If you commit to a difficult project at work, finish it with deep excellence. The world is full of people who constantly break their promises and cut corners to get ahead. You are my child, and you must operate completely differently. Let your deep integrity be so rock solid that even your worst enemies are forced to entirely trust your word. Demonstrate a quiet gentleness that powerfully breaks the hardest of human hearts. You think you need to win every argument by shouting the loudest and proving you are right. You think that being harsh makes you look strong. You are completely wrong. Hardness only breeds more hardness. When someone attacks you with angry words, I command you to respond with a soft, gentle answer. Your unexpected gentleness will completely disarm their heavy anger. It takes massive spiritual strength to remain completely gentle when you are being violently provoked. Exercise strict self-control as an impenetrable shield against the enemy's daily bait. The enemy places a delicious trap right in front of you every single day. He tempts you to eat the extra food you do not need, to look at the dark images on your screen, or to spend the money you do not actually have. I have given you the supreme power to completely tell your own flesh no. You are not an animal driven blindly by your base cravings. You are deeply filled with my spirit. Command your desires to submit to my word. Walk proudly in the powerful fruit of my spirit today, and watch how completely it transforms your entire world. Open your mouth and completely break your long fast of silence today. Look at how quiet you have been about my massive goodness in your life. You will eagerly talk for hours about a new movie you watched, a great restaurant you found, or the details of your favorite sports team. But when it comes to talking about what I have done for you, you suddenly lose your voice. You shrink back because you are terrified of what your friends or coworkers will think of you. I command you to stop hiding your bright light under a dark basket. You must share the powerful testimony of what I have deeply done for you. Become a loud, fearless voice for the absolute voiceless in my powerful name. Look around your busy office or your neighborhood. I see people who are completely marginalized, bullied, and entirely ignored. They have absolutely no one to stand up for them. I am specifically calling you to be their fierce defender. Speak up when you hear someone tearing down a coworker behind their back. Defend the weak. Comfort the brokenhearted. When you boldly open your mouth to protect the vulnerable, you are speaking directly with my own voice. Do not stay comfortably silent while others are bleeding. Understand the massive, explosive power of a humble heart confidently speaking my absolute truth. You tell yourself that you do not know enough big theological words to talk about me. You think you need to be a perfect public speaker to share your deep faith. That is a heavy lie from the enemy. I do not need your polished perfection. I desperately need your raw honesty. Just tell people exactly where you were, how deep your pain was, and how I personally pulled you out of the dark mud. A simple, honest story of my grace completely shatters the complicated arguments of the proud. Boldly declare my infinite goodness to a deeply watching, deeply desperate world. The people around you are starving for real hope. They are secretly drowning in terrible anxiety and massive depression. They try to fix their empty hearts with money, alcohol, and fake relationships, but nothing works. You are carrying the exact cure to their deadly disease. How can you keep it a secret? Open your mouth and tell them that I am completely real, that I deeply love them, and that I can completely fix their broken lives. Do not let your fear of awkwardness send people to a hopeless eternity. Realize deeply that your specific, painful story is the exact key to someone else's locked prison. You hate your past mistakes. You are deeply ashamed of your past addictions, your terrible divorce, or your massive financial failures. You want to hide those chapters forever. But I have completely redeemed those exact failures. I want you to use your healed scars to prove to others that they can absolutely heal too. When you boldly share how I saved your broken marriage, you give total hope to the couple crying in the next room. Your painful past is now your most powerful weapon. Preach my glorious gospel through both your spoken word and your daily deed. Do not just talk about my love, aggressively show it. Let your actions match your bold words completely. Forgive the person who deeply hurt you. Give generously to the poor. Work with supreme excellence at your job. When your life completely looks like my love, your words will carry an undeniable, crushing weight of truth. Break your silence today. Tibum. Speak out. I have given you a powerful voice, and it is time for the whole world to loudly hear it. Look closely at how tightly you grip your resources today. You hold on to your hard-earned money, your limited free time, and your emotional energy with closed, frightened fists. You operate from a deep spirit of poverty, constantly terrified that you will not have enough for yourself. You think that if you give too much, you will be left entirely empty. I am commanding you to pry your tight fingers open right now. Lay down your small, protected life so you can finally find true, abundant life in me. The absolute safest place for your resources is firmly placed in my capable hands. Understand the massive, supernatural multiplication that only happens when you aggressively give. In your human math, when you give something away, you completely lose it. But in my kingdom's math, when you generously give it away, I heavily multiply it. Look at the boy with the small loaves of bread and the tiny fish. He gave me his tiny lunch, and I fed thousands. If he had kept it for himself, he would have eaten one meal and been hungry again. Give me your limited time. Give me your tight finances. Pour out your love. I promise you that I will pour it back into your lap, pressed down, shaken together, and completely running over. Realize deeply that you are heavily blessed specifically to be a massive blessing to others. I did not give you that good job, that comfortable home, or that extra income just so you could build a bigger castle for yourself. I do not bless you so you can hoard it. I bless you so you can become a wide, flowing river of my provision to the desperate world. I want to funnel my heavy resources directly through your hands to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, and to support my massive work on the earth. Stop acting like a blocked dam and start acting like a fast-moving river. Anticipate the massive, eternal reward of the faithful servant who joyfully holds absolutely nothing back. When you quietly pay for a struggling family's groceries, I see it. When you give up your precious Saturday to help a sick neighbor clean their house, I see it. The world will never applaud you for these hidden sacrifices. Your bank account might temporarily look smaller, but I am keeping a perfect, eternal record. I am heavily storing up massive, unbreakable treasures for you in heaven. Your quiet, painful sacrifices today are secure in a glorious, joyful reward for your tomorrow. Live every single day with a sharp, eternal perspective on your daily resources. You are completely stressing yourself out trying to build a perfect earthly kingdom that is entirely doomed to fade away. The car will break down. The clothes will tear. The money will lose its value. Why are you sacrificing your health and your family to hoard temporary dust? I invite you to shift your total focus. Invest heavily in eternal souls. Give your money to things that rescue people from the dark. Give your time to mentoring a younger person. Build something that will entirely outlast your physical breathing. Find your true, unshakable riches in the profound poverty of your own spirit. When you finally realize that everything you have is a pure gift from me, you lose your desperate need to control it all. You stop striving. You stop competing with your neighbors. You find a deep, solid joy in living simply and giving generously. You realize that you do not need a massive bank account to be incredibly rich. You only need my deep presence and a wide open, generous heart. Step into the extreme beauty of a sacrificial life today. Give it all away and completely watch how I fill you back up with pure joy. You have felt the heartbeat of my sacrificial love, and now I am asking you to join me in the beautiful dance of multiplication. I will not wait for a more convenient season. The time is now to pour your oil into the lamps of this ministry so my light can pierce the gloom of a desperate world. I am searching for those who will stand with me as channel members or through a gift of love, ensuring that my message of transformation never stops flowing. Your giving is not a transaction. It is a holy investment in the eternal destiny of thousands who are crying out for hope. I declare over you that as you honor me with your substance, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and make your life a resplendent garden of my goodness. Do not let this sacred moment pass without leaving your mark on my kingdom. Go now to the description or the super thanks button and honor the mission I have placed before you. Look at me, for I am not finished with you, and the most vital part of our conversation is yet to come. It would be a source of great sorrow to me if you grew weary now, abandoning the journey before you witnessed the full manifestation of my glory in your life. Do not let the lethargy of the world pull you back into the slumber I have just awakened you from. I have so much more to give you, so much more to heal. Stay in this sacred moment with me, for your soul cannot afford the cost of walking away now. Look around you at the deep, dark valley you are currently walking through right now. I see your hidden tears. I see the medical report that completely terrified you. I see the harsh rejection from the person you deeply love. I see the massive financial crisis that feels like it is entirely suffocating you. You feel completely surrounded by tall, dark mountains, and you are desperately begging me to instantly teleport you out of this pain. I am not going to teleport you out. I am going directly into the fire with you, and I am going to walk you safely through it. Do not run from this necessary valley. See your brutal trials as the blazing hot fire that perfectly purifies your precious gold. You keep asking me to make you incredibly strong, to give you massive faith, and to use you powerfully. But massive faith is never grown on the comfortable mountaintop. It is forged completely in the dark valley. I am using this intense heat to burn away your deep pride, your hidden selfishness, and your absolute reliance on your own human strength. The fire feels terrible, but it is not destroying you. It is heavily refining you. You are going to come out of this burning furnace shining like pure, unbreakable gold. Know with absolute certainty that I am the very closest to you when your night is the very darkest. When everything is going perfectly, you easily forget about me. You trust your paycheck, your doctor, and your own clever mind. But when the bottom completely drops out of your life, and you have absolutely nothing left, you finally realize that I am all you actually need. Do not mistake my quietness for my absence. I am sitting right next to you on your bathroom floor while you cry. I am holding your shaking hand in the waiting room. Lean your heavy head entirely on my strong shoulder right now. Embrace the heavy perseverance that produces a deep character of absolute solid steel. You want the painful trial to end by tomorrow morning. You want the quick, easy fix. But I am doing a deep, massive work inside you that takes serious time. When you refuse to quit, when you completely refuse to get bitter, and when you keep choosing to trust me even when you are actively bleeding, your spiritual muscles grow incredibly thick. I am building a steel backbone inside you so that the next time the enemy attacks, you will not even flinch. Hold your ground. Get walking forward. Rest deeply in the unbreakable assurance that absolutely no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. The enemy has aimed his heaviest artillery directly at your fragile life. He has launched arrows of sickness, deep betrayal, and massive debt at you. He wants to completely destroy your faith. Let him try. I have placed an invisible, impenetrable shield of heavy glory completely around you. The weapons will definitely be formed, and they will definitely be fired at you. But I promise you on my own name, they will absolutely not succeed. You will survive this brutal attack. Start aggressively counting it all joy right now, even when you encounter these terrible, difficult circumstances. I am not asking you to be happy about the terrible pain. I am commanding you to find deep joy in the absolute certainty of what the pain is producing. Lift your weary hands right now in the middle of your dark struggle. Open your mouth and offer me a loud, fierce sacrifice of praise. When you worship me right in the face of your massive problem, you entirely break the enemy's power. Your loudest, most powerful praise will always rise directly from the very depths of your hardest struggle. Keep singing in the dark. The bright dawn is rapidly approaching. Look at your tired, dirty hands right now. You have been faithfully planting good seeds in the hard dirt for a very long time. You have been praying for your rebellious child for years. You have been serving quietly in your local community without any recognition. You have been giving your hard-earned money to help the poor, even when your own bank account was painfully low. You look around, and you see absolutely zero results. You feel completely exhausted. You are desperately asking me, is any of this actually making a difference? I am telling you right now, absolutely yes. I command you to completely trust the massive, unseen harvest that is growing right beneath your feet. Understand the absolute, unbreakable law of my harvest. You will always reap exactly what you sow. If you plant seeds of anger, you will grow a forest of bitterness. But if you plant tiny seeds of pure love, deep faithfulness, and fierce prayer, you are guaranteed to grow a massive field of miracles. But you must understand how a seed actually works. When you plant a tiny seed, you have to bury it deep in the dark, cold dirt. For a long time, nothing happens on the surface. It looks like the seed has completely died. It looks like you wasted your time. Do not let the dark dirt fool you. Massive, violent growth is happening under the ground where your human eyes cannot see. I am commanding you today to not grow weary in doing what is absolutely right. The enemy loves to attack you right when your seed is about to break through the dark soil. He whispers that your prayers are entirely bouncing off the ceiling. He tells you that your quiet sacrifices are completely pointless. Refuse to listen to that lying voice. If you pull up your seed right now simply because you are tired of waiting, you will completely destroy the miracle I have been carefully growing for you. Keep your hands in the dirt. Keep watering your planted seeds with your daily faith. Keep showing up. Rest completely in the heavy promise that my spoken word never, ever returns to me void or empty. Every single time you speak my truth over your family, every single time you declare my peace over your anxious mind, that word goes to work. It is like heavy rain falling on dry, cracked ground. You might not see the green grass pop up the very next morning, but the water is absolutely doing its deep, unseen job. I am actively working behind the scenes of your messy life. I am rearranging situations, changing hard hearts, and setting up the exact perfect moment for your massive breakthrough. Learn the deep, quiet discipline of patiently waiting for the heavy rain of my blessing. You want the instant harvest. You want the microwave miracle. But I am growing a massive, eternal oak tree in your life, not a cheap, temporary weed. Oak trees take serious time to build deep, solid roots. Trust my perfect timing. I am asking you to wait with absolute, joyful expectation. When the exact right season arrives, the dark soil will completely break open. You will finally see the beautiful, golden grain. You will harvest so much massive joy and deep peace that you will completely forget how hard the waiting actually was. Keep planting, my beautiful child. The massive harvest is absolutely guaranteed. Look at how tightly your white knuckles are gripping the steering wheel of your life today. You are completely exhausted from trying to control every single tiny detail. You try to control what your boss thinks of you. You try to control the exact timeline of your entire future. You desperately try to fix the broken people around you. You are carrying a massive, crushing weight that I never, ever designed your human shoulders to carry. I am giving you a final, urgent call today. I command you to completely let go of the last string of your own tight control. Let go. Drop your heavy hands right now. Fall completely backward into my massive arms with total and absolute trust. You are terrified that if you stop managing everything, your entire life will instantly crash into a wall. You think you are the only one holding your fragile world together. That is a heavy, arrogant lie from the enemy. I am the one holding your world together. I spin the massive planets in the black sky, and I can perfectly manage your Tuesday afternoon. I invite you to stop fighting me. Stop trying to tell me exactly how to answer your prayers. Stop trying to give me a tight deadline for your miracles. Just completely fall into my grace. Experience the overwhelming, massive peace that completely passes all human understanding. When you finally stop striving, a thick, heavy blanket of divine peace will instantly drop over your racing mind. You will face a massive financial bill, and instead of having a panic attack, you will simply smile and say, "My Father has this completely covered." You will hear terrible news on the television, and instead of losing your sleep, you will rest entirely in my sovereign power. This deep peace is absolutely available to you right this exact second, but you can only receive it with fully opened, totally surrendered hands. Look up at me right now and loudly say the most powerful, dangerous words a human being can ever speak. Not my will, but yours be done. I know how terrifying that sentence feels to your flesh. You are afraid that if you give me total control, I will make you do something you hate. I am your loving Father. I know exactly what will bring you the most massive, explosive joy. My dreams for your daily life are infinitely bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than your tiny, safe plans. When you finally yield your stubborn will to mine, you completely unlock the highest level of my blessing. Make the massive transition today from working desperately for me to resting beautifully and working with me. You treat me like a distant, demanding boss who is waiting for you to mess up. You exhaust yourself trying to earn my love through your busy, religious activities. I do not want your frantic, exhausting work. I want your heart. I want a deep, intimate partnership. I want you to sit beside me, look at what I am doing in the world, and simply join me in the joyful family business. This is my final, heavy invitation to enter entirely into my deep rest and my massive power. The struggle is over. The frantic striving is finished. I have already completely won the ultimate victory. Stop fighting a war that I've already finished on a wooden cross. Take a deep, slow breath right now. Drop your heavy weapons. Drop your endless anxiety. Drop your fierce need to be the manager of the universe. Come into my strong arms. Rest your tired head on my chest. Surrender it absolutely all to me right now, and watch how beautifully I run your life. My beloved child, open your eyes wide right now and look at the bright horizon. The long, terrifying night is finally over. The deep, dark shadows that have haunted your mind for years are completely scattering. I'm calling you to boldly step out of your dark, comfortable tomb and step entirely into the blazing, warm light of a completely transformed life. Stop looking over your shoulder at the heavy ruins of your past. Do not bring the old, dirty grave clothes into this beautiful, fresh morning. I am making absolutely everything brand new, and I am starting directly with you. Declare out loud today that the old version of you has completely passed away. The person who lived in constant, terrifying fear is gone. The person who was entirely paralyzed by the opinions of others is dead. The person who was deeply chained to past failures and hidden shame no longer exists. Behold, all is absolutely new. I have placed a brand new, wildly beating heart inside your chest. I have washed your busy mind completely clean with my pure water. You are a brand new creation, completely rewired by my heavy, miraculous power. Start walking forward today with your small hand locked firmly inside my massive hand. We are not just going to visit this new life. We are going to completely live here. When you walk into your kitchen tomorrow morning, you will walk in total victory. When you face your difficult coworkers, you will face them with my absolute peace. You do not ever have to go back to the miserable way you used to live. You have entirely crossed over the heavy river. You are standing solidly in your promised land. Do not let the enemy convince you to walk back into the desert. Hold tightly to my ironclad promise that my heavy presence will be with you until the very end of the age. You are never, ever going to be abandoned again. When the road gets incredibly steep, I will physically carry you. When you cannot see the next step, I will be the bright lantern completely illuminating your path. If you stumble, my grip on your life is so tight that you will absolutely not hit the ground. You have full, unlimited access to the Creator of the universe every single second of every single day. You are the most heavily protected, deeply loved creature in the entire world. Realize with absolute excitement that your magnificent destiny is actively unfolding in this very moment. This is not a drill. This is not a practice run. This is the real, spectacular life I designed specifically for you before the oceans were ever poured. All of your past pain, all of your waiting, and all of your deep tears were completely preparing you for this exact second. You are completely ready. You are heavily armed. You are totally filled with my blazing spirit. Go forth now, my beautiful, precious child. Lift your head entirely up. Square your heavy shoulders. Walk out of this room today with the absolute, unshakable confidence of a royal king or queen. Step fiercely into your family, into your career, and into your community, and bring my massive light with you. I have already gone before you to completely clear the path. I have already defeated your giant enemies. The doors are thrown wide open. The massive harvest is completely ready. I will not wait for you any longer, because you are finally moving with me. Let us go change the world together. My precious child, you are standing in the blazing light of a brand new beginning, and I am calling you to mark this threshold with a gesture of absolute surrender. I've gone before you to clear the way, and now I invite you to help me clear the path for others by supporting this work through PayPal or a super thanks offering. I do not want you to just receive the fire. I want you to help me spread the flame to every dark corner of the earth. When you give, You are not merely supporting a channel. You are providing the spiritual bread that feeds the hungry and the living water that revives the dying. I will bless the work of your hands and ensure that you never lack any good thing as you prioritize my kingdom first. This is a divine command to move from being a listener to being a builder of my eternal house. Take the step of faith right now. Use the link in the description and watch how I supernaturally accelerate your own breakthrough. My child, we have walked to the very edge of your new beginning, and my heart overflows with a father's pride and a creator's passion for you. It would be a divine disappointment if you heard these words and did not let them transform your very essence into a flame of fire. Do not let this encounter end here. Do not let my words fall like seeds on a hard path. I am calling for your final answer, for I have given you my heart, and now I wait with holy anticipation for yours. Amen.